All right, folks, it is here. It is MaREC. It is officially the beautiful month of MaREC over here at Rec Poker, and that means it's time for MaREC Madness. That's right. So every year we get together. This is the brainchild of the one and only Taylor Moss. I call him Tay Tay. His real friends call him Tay Tay, but he mostly goes by Taylor Moss. Such a gifted poker player, such a big part of what we do here at Rec Poker. One of the OGs of the Wrecking Crew,
He's playing
and
tonight, isn't he?
he is playing tonight.
Wow.
He's in the second match, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Eric, you had it. So I'm joined here, in case you don't know, I'm Jim Reed. I'm joined by Eric Jin. You know him as Binkley in the Rec Poker circles, Com Binkley in the home game. And Eric, you were a victor in last week's round four versus Kathleen Twomey. How did that
Yes.
feel? What was like,
Yes.
how does it feel to sort of like peak in your poker career, right, like in front of
Well,
everybody
ho
live
hopefully I
on
haven't peaked
Houston?
quite yet because I have another matchup coming up. So
Yeah, the winner to be determined, or your opponent to be determined
yeah.
tonight.
So it was a fun matchup. It's great to participate in this. I think this is maybe my third time at least in participating in this. And it's always it's fun, win or lose. Um, I think if anybody watched last week, they saw that the I was really getting hit by the deck. So
I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't going to mention it just in case, but yeah, you were
that's
getting
always
above average card
yeah. So
distribution.
yeah, my main strategy was to hit the flop, but my fallback was to hit the turn if the my primary
Smart,
strategy.
smart. My strategy is mostly just like flop sets or lose hands. That's
Yeah,
really the
yeah.
only way I get to
Uh-huh.
make hands. So, yeah. So that yours is a better strategy. That really worked out for you last week. So, last week we had four matches: Michael Babker versus Eric Anderson, Rob Washam versus Kim Kilroy, Scott Beckham versus Lorianne Persinger, and Eric Jin versus Kathleen Toomey. And the whole right side of the bracket just got destroyed last week. It was the left side only. Michael Babker, Rob Washam, Scott DFS, Brad Beckham, and Eric Jin advanced to round two. This is going to be a fun week tonight. We're looking at Rob Gardner versus Joe Coolis, Craig Savage versus Taylor Moss, Chris Jones versus KL Cleaton, and Ben Enslow versus Roger Schutte. We're going to see some good poker tonight, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. If you're in the YouTube chat, please type away, join the fun. We're also going to be giving away some prizes tonight. So if you guess the winning hand in each of our matches, so there are four opportunities to win a prize tonight. You don't have to get the suits right, but if you guess the pocket, the hand that wins, King 10 it doesn't matter if it's offsuit or suited or anything like that. It won't be King 10 offsuit because that's just a terrible, terrible hand.
No, I wouldn't
But
say
yeah, if
that.
you want to guess like pocket fives or one of those excellent hands like that, then you can win a fantastic prize. So people can start. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. I see some fun comments in the YouTube chat already. Unfortunately, it's too late to start a prediction bracket, because half the first round is already in the books, and it wouldn't be fair. But some folks have gone over to bracket.rec.poker and filled out their predictions for the winner. And a lot of them are still very much alive. So there's going to be a lot of prizes being given away tonight and throughout the entire month of MaREC every Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern. But what else? What else should we talk about before we actually get into the matches? Next week, we're going to be joined by Lorianne Persinger in the booth. And then for the semifinals on March 18th, we have a super secret celebrity co-host who's going to be coming in to do some commentary. And then for the finals on May 25th, we have another super secret poker celebrity co-host who's going to come in and add some commentary. So it's a really exciting month. We love the month of Marek over here at Rec Poker, and I've just got the best freaking job in the world. I get to show up on Tuesdays and get into the booth here with some of my favorite people in the poker world. Um, Eric, so we've got that. Let's get started on the first match here. This is Rob Gardner versus Joe Coolis. This is a
Ooh,
tough one. I mean, Rob has been a professional poker player and coach for a while.
Rob is a
Um,
heavy hitter for sure.
he is.
Skilled, studied player. Um, He knows both the theory and the exploitive side. So, but Joe is a returning champion, is a reigning champion,
That's
and
right.
I'd look back and on his in his run to his championship, he beat two of the former champions, right, previous year. So it wasn't a cakewalk at all.
Yep.
So
Yep.
uh, I expect a very tough matchup here.
Me too. Now, do you have a prediction? Do you have a sense of who's going to win or how it's going to go?
Um, these things are so hard to predict. I think based on his experience in this event, I'm gonna pick Joe because Rob, as you know, as he has experience, but he hasn't had experience in this format,
It's
the
true.
madness. I mean,
It's true.
it's
The
how you
mad.
handle the madness,
It's
right?
that's awesome. That's right. And it is crazy. It is crazy what goes on out here in the streets, in
And
the MaREC
I'm
Madness
especially
streets.
interested in watching this match because, as you mentioned, I went through, and whoever wins this, I'm actually matched up with. If I read the
Ah,
bracket correctly.
okay. That's exciting. That's and just so let me ask you this then before we go live. Do you have a preference? Is there someone you're hoping to see next week?
They're both tough, so I no,
Yeah.
I can't say either way.
All right. Well, if anyone has any predictions, you can start putting them in the YouTube chat. And also, we're going to share a portion of any donations with a local food bank. So if you want to send us a super chat or a super sticky or a super comment, then we'll make sure to share a portion of all those donations, as I say, with a local food bank. And I would love it if you did. And while we've got a couple minutes, I'll just also say, pull out your smartphone and Google food banks near me, and you'll find some fantastic organizations that could benefit from a few dollars out of your pocket, a few hours of volunteer time out of your week, and maybe some non-perishable food items from your pantry. And it's just a great way to make the world a better place. And I hope you take me up on that and Google a food bank near you. All right. That's enough making the world a better place. Let's talk some poker. This is going to be great. So, um, we're going to be starting with 75 big blinds. It's nice and deep. The levels start, I believe, at 7 minutes, but they get longer as the tournament progresses. So, as stacks get shorter, players have a little more time with their chips in front of them.
So 1 minute away, it's not too late to put in your picks of the winning hand.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
type it
get
in.
it in there. I see we got Queen 8, Ace Jack, good choices. Ace 5, there you go. So
I
let's
don't see any
Jack
king.
10.
I don't see any king 10 off yet.
It's a smart crowd. That's why they know. They know that hand only loses in poker. You can't win a hand with King 10 offsuit. I have it on very good at the. Oh, Michael Babker has to come in and spoil all my fun right at the last minute. I can't
Well,
complain. Mike, he won last week. He knows what's up. He knows how to get through these things. So if you're enjoying the show and you like hanging out with Eric Jin, every other Thursday he hosts our Play, Explain, and Learn over here at Rec Poker for our premium members. I think it's one of the best things we do. It's one of the best ways to improve as a player to have your assumptions challenged. And folks can just get a piece of that by getting the first month of Rec Poker Premium for $5 at checkout. So I hope that they do. And we're
we're
about to
start.
go live
Yep, yep.
here.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
God, it's really happening. And
oh.
folks, we're going to be able to see their cameras if they've got their cameras turned on. They can talk to each other and hear each other, but we won't be able to hear what they are saying. So we get an open here from Joe Cool, PhD, and
Too,
in
too, too bad there's no hearts. I mean, it would have been exciting
yeah,
to have
I know, right?
right off the bat, but
Right off the bat. And I guess these games are intended to go around 45 minutes each. Of course, it depends on how it goes, but they've been structured so that we should have approximately 4 45-minute matches tonight if everything goes the way that it should. Now, these players are both so studied that I don't think, and I kind of said this last night, Eric, or last week, I don't think we're going to see a lot of big mistakes. I think this is going to be, um, these guys know how to play small ball. They know how to hit it long when they need to. They know how to pot control when that's called for. So I think this is going to come down to a lot of small pots, and we'll see if like I don't know. I guess I think Rob might be a little bluffier than Joe. That might be an advantage to Rob. When your head's up, it's so hard to make a hand. Often it's winning when you don't have to bet.
I think either of these players can, if they think the spot's good, are capable of pulling the trigger and going for it.
Hmm.
So, I actually think there might be, some big pots brewing if the circumstance, you know,
Hmm.
sets it up like that.
Yep.
And Joe is ahead with, no, he's behind with his pocket fives, but he has the gut shot there.
Hmm. And Rob's got second pair and an over and leads out. Oh boy.
And yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Now
Um,
with a four liner, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's just a call, but
I'd like to see a raise from Joe here just
that's
because
true.
there's a lot of one.
Oh,
Yeah, there
there
you
he
go.
goes.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I think we'll get a call from Rob. I don't expect.
Mm, I
I don't
mean,
know.
does
He's
does
got
he think?
he's got
No.
all right, very disciplined fold. Disciplined fold. Yeah. So
I
you
think
think Joe could have got more chips if you just smooth called there, Eric?
uh perhaps.
And here we've got another sort of middle pair spot for Rob, and he makes a value bet there and gets called. I expect we'll see another check from Joe and another bet from Rob. Kind of curious if he goes a little bigger here. Um,
To polarize
in
it a bit.
yeah, in flow, I like to see bigger
Oh,
bets on the turn. There it is. Oh yeah, so
there it
he is
is.
polarizing. And unfortunately for him, Joe doesn't really have a second best
Right.
hand, so I don't think he's going to get any
Yeah.
action. But I love the sizing.
Right.
Now, Eric, I'm going to be curious to see um, what the opening size is, and whether there's limps employed at
Right.
various points here.
We've already seen Rob limp on the button, I noticed. I think this is definitely a C bet for Joe,
Yep, and
especially
I
a
think
flush draw and a board that should favor him as well.
we'll get a call from Rob. I think
Oh yeah.
with the gut shot. It's actually not a bad spot for
Check raise?
a little raise. Yeah.
There
Oh
you go.
yes, love to see it. Love to
Yes.
see it. And interesting. I wonder. Yeah, Joe's in position. He can just call there and realize some equity. I love the check back once you get that spot. Now you get to see all five cards. You've really already set your price. And now we'll see if Rob wants to
I think he
rep.
bets.
I think he does too.
I think this is like, oh no, I expected because
Hmm.
the showdown value. Now I wonder if Joe is going to bluff with the best hand. Nope.
He's gonna get that seven high to showdown. It's a winner.
Nice.
Yeah, and this is what we're saying, right? I mean, this is when you're playing heads up like this,
Oh,
ranges are
interesting.
so wide.
Right. Rob goes with a 3x
Oh,
with
3x. Okay.
probably definitely bottom
Hmm.
of the range, right?
Yep. But he is ahead.
But he spikes it on the flop.
And I expect to see a small bet here, like a down bet even, maybe two big blinds or one and a half. Yep, one and a half. That feels about right. And Joe's just got, some draw equity and one
Queen
over.
X, right? Queen high could be good. Heads up
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep. Now
And
this
I
that
expect to go check
ace,
check.
yeah. Now Rob can rep the ace better than Joe can, but I like Joe coming out here. This is a bit of a tricky spot for Rob. Oh wow, there you
For
go.
Rob. Yeah.
Yep. Nice call, Rob. Nice call.
Yeah, I mean, they should have been better for Rob. So I think he called because the story wasn't quite
Hmm.
making sense to him.
Mm-hmm. This is another one of those spots where I don't think it's going to be hard for Rob to get paid with his top pair, unless Joe decides to make a stab here. He does put a
Hmm,
little bet out, but correctly folds to the tiny
interesting.
check raise. Really,
Interesting.
really small sizing there. It's interesting seeing Rob limping with 7-3 suited, but the 3x with 8-2 offsuit. So he really is
Well, 8-2,
uh,
8-2 offsuit doesn't have much flop playability, and
that
7-3 suited has a little bit more. So I think he'd rather, raise and take it down with 8-2
totally.
offsuit.
I love that. Nicely said. I've got a comment from Benny the Jet. Is there a specific way you guys like to study heads up play, or is it really more of a play and experiment with things? That's a great question. I'd love to know what the YouTube chat has to say about that. Um, Heads up play is kind of a difficult thing to simulate effectively without actually playing it. Um, and it's very difficult also to simulate the actual pressure of being at the end of a tournament. This is where the biggest pots are won and lost. This is where the biggest ladder exists in the entire tournament. So it's hard to replicate that in a practice environment. I wonder if we'll get a bet from Joe here. He did open this hand. Um,
Um, hmm, Interesting. Because he really has a marginal hand where I think you can check it there and
hmm
use it as a bluff catcher. Because
hmm
you're really only folding out worse, so
I like this three bet from Joe. I like the sizing.
pretty
I
standard.
I expect we'll get the fold from Robin. We do. But Rob's really not afraid to open all these pots and put some pressure on with some of the the worst hands he's going to be
Hmm.
dealt, and that's how you get paid with the good ones. That's definitely part of it. Same goes for raise over limping.
Do you like this as a razor? This hand?
I do. I really do. I really do. I think you can lose the least with it by raising pre-flop and
So it goes in the eight deuce offsuit kind of category.
exactly. It's just
Okay.
a garbage hand. It's just a garbage hand. Like eight deuce
No, you're
offsuit.
right. It got outfluffed there.
You see, that's what I'm telling you.
An ace deuce offsuit would have hit even better on this board. So
Yeah, I like the call though from Joe. It's such a small
yeah.
bet and relative to the pot. Now I think we probably check again, and I don't know if Rob is gonna fire again here. He wants to protect against overcards and diamonds. That's a pretty safe card. I'm always curious because we can actually see Joe's got his camera on and Rob has his camera off. All right, good check back from Rob there. I'm always curious when I've played on Poker Now, and this is a great platform by the way. It's a free platform. You can play with all your friends Poker Now and put your mic on and your camera on. It's a very social element to the game. Um, but sometimes when I've been playing in this, I forget I'm used to playing online, and so I forget that my camera's on, and I think I give away some information by my facial expression and sort of like like my comportment when different cards come out. So I'm going to be studying Joe, see if we can pick up any live tells while we're at it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why Rob's camera isn't on, but they are definitely talking to each other. I can see the little
hmm
mic icon being lit up. So they are having a little banter, a little fun at the table.
Rob's probably playing from the bath, and it's just not appropriate for him to have the camera on because of the
So
nudity laws.
with the nuts,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
they just chop it up. Oh no, no, there's no. Oh, I'm
No, it was a pair. Right.
yes, there.
Another limp from Joe. And like these guys have plenty of chips now. And I think with this format, with this structure, there is going to be a lot of kind of small ball early, just feeling each other out, trying to get a sense of sizing tendencies and timing tells and that kind of stuff.
Joe stab with this open ender.
I'd love to see it.
There
Yep,
he
there you
goes.
go. And then, boy, an ace on the turn here would be so
Oh,
sweet, wouldn't it?
oh.
Uh-oh, wrong one.
Oh,
Oh,
but
okay, all right.
six works.
There's clubs out there. I still want to see a raise. I want to see a raise, Joe. Make this like
No, yeah.
five
I
bigs,
think he has to.
5 or 6. Oh
10.
yeah, might be hard to get called.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean the flush is out there, which makes it look kind of scary. But these guys are on a couple levels up, and
that's fold.
Rob Rob knows that it's scary and shows the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have gotten paid if the flush hadn't come in. And we were in one of the matches last week when Rob Washam was playing against Kim Kilroy. Kim had Rob on the rails. He was down
Oh
to
yeah.
8 or 9 big blinds a couple times and came back to do it to win it. So it really is with a good structure, it's really possible that these can go either way. They're still very,
Oh,
very close to equal in chips. Uh-oh.
same hand.
We're gonna find out who's the better poker player. My guess
Yep.
is
Yep.
whoever's in position or bets first. Spots like this, that tends to be it. It's a hard board to hit. I'd love to see just a small bet with his entire range here. Yep, and it's just very difficult to continue.
I
Oh,
think
good for you.
Jonas can.
Sniffs it out. Sniffs it out. Joe knows what's up. He's going to be checking range. Hmm.
So
I
Joe
think this.
has given some probes on the river when it's
Yep.
gone turn check check.
Yep.
This time. Oh,
Now, Eric, is there a song that you like to sing when there's a chopped pot about how everyone feels about it?
I know there is a song. I don't tend to sing it, but I let others sing it if they want. You're
If
welcome
only
to.
I knew
You're
it was
welcome to.
that, if it was that
You're welcome
easy to
to.
get out of singing it, just to say I'd prefer not to. Damn. Somewhere Stapes is smiling and he doesn't understand why. He just had like a really nice feeling. So here we got Rob limping
Yeah, so Rob
with the
has been
twos,
mixing his open sizes and mixing in limps, I have noticed.
and I'll be curious. We haven't seen him limping any good hands, honestly. He hasn't limped any like Broadway hands. They've been lower suited gappers or connectors. This is the low
Mhm.
pocket pair, and I think Joe's kind of saying like I don't think you have an ace because you um
He checked the flop.
check and limped because he limped
That's true.
pre-flop. So he got some information there and picks up a pot and the chip lead swings toward the reigning champion Joe Goulas. So we'll see a 2x open from Joe here. I'm very confident and a call from Rob and Joe. Yeah, Joe's going to that slightly more than 2x. And monochrome board like this, just small bet, Joe. You can win it right here. Um, I probably overbet with a small sizing on monochrome boards, but it's just because my opponents overfold. It's like the easiest thing in the world. You could go even smaller than that, but this will
Right,
get the
I
fold.
was thinking that. I was thinking like 1.5 would have done about the same. Now Joe with the eight deuce off. Is he gonna
Mm.
raise it? Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't attack. So Rob decided to protect his limping range and limps with ace jack suited.
Yep. Nice. Just like we were talking about, right? You can get a little predictable if you're only limping with those bad hands. I like this kind of merge here from Joe, check raising second pair, no kicker. It really is when your head's up, like it's especially hard to actually make a hand. It's just very, very difficult to do it.
It
And that's
is?
the kind of hand
It,
that, yeah, we
okay.
have. Yeah, oh, thanks. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, right. Yeah, you
Um
found it quite easy actually to make all sorts of hands. That's a good point. That's funny. All right, so
Okay.
couple of couple of opportunities for some straights. Joe's got the backdoor flush
Yeah.
too.
We have opportunity for a chop pot.
That's right. And
And
that's what's going to happen.
everybody is they're both
King,
playing the
King,
board.
Jack, 7 8. So do we get a bet from
Do we get a
Joe?
bet?
He's got to know his six high is no good.
He's like, I'm playing the board.
Yeah. It's a good time to try and take it away. This is a pretty big pot. Like there's 10 big blinds in the middle. There's nine big blinds in the middle. All right. Hey, thank you, Chris Jones in the YouTube chat. Yeah, please do hit the like button, and we'd love it if you'd subscribe as well. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel subscriber base. If you watched Taylor Moss's vlog from Rec Poker Weekend at Running Aces a couple weeks ago, it just came out on the weekend. You'll notice that we're on our way to 1 million subscribers. We just need that last 999,000 and then we are there. So we're hot on the path to 1 million. We're just 999,000 away. This could be the year. You never know. Hit that subscribe button. Now Rob doesn't know it, but he is actually ahead here. What a
Oh,
what a
he
great
did know it.
call.
He did
What a
know
great
it.
call.
He
He
made the
just
call.
sniffed it out. Sniffed it out. That's why he's a pro. He's got that sixth sense. So not a great board for either player. Rob's at least got the gut shot and says, no, thank you. I don't want to play this out of position on this kind of dynamic board. Choose a better time to invest. 5-10 offsuit. This is Dave Westerveld's favorite hand. It blocks every straight and two flushes.
You know what? It's funny because Dave's often in a lot of our events. Our premium is been a long time premium member. Um,
Yeah.
and we did talk that it is one of his favorite hands, and we talk about that. Oh, and this I believe there's a straight
There is.
in his hand.
And Joe is in position. Um,
So you flat. I mean, you can get, I think maybe a raise
I like a raise here.
because
Um,
there's might be some two pairs or
yep. Over pairs
some
even, or
pairs with a gut shot that might continue.
yep. Some
Uh, I
flush
don't,
draws.
I don't think a gut shot is good enough for Rob to continue. At least unless he
But
wants to
what
turn
a
into bluff.
what a nightmare scenario if the four comes on the river, right?
Yeah,
Hey, we got Evil Roy Slade in the chat. Yeah, there you go. You know
yeah,
what I'm talking about, Dave.
yeah.
So it blocks, let me see, it blocks two different flushes and every straight. What was the other? It can make two flushes. It can flop two flush draws. All sorts of good things about that hand. Advantage coolest in this one. And we're at that point in
And
the
yes,
tournament where, oh, okay, this will be, I, th I think, Rob's got to know he's got a chance his only chance to win is by betting.
right. And oh, Joe decides to bet here. Not sure if I think he had an opportunity to allow Rob to bluff
Mm,
there.
hmm. Interesting. So Joe does have the ace of clubs, and we'll see a quick continue here. And I'm often stuck in Rob's spot here where it's like, okay, I bet they called. Now what do I do? I'm still out of position. Another overcard
Hmm.
has come, and he does check, and Joe checks behind. Now we're at that point in the tournament where one player actually has twice the
So
other
this is an
player's chip stack.
interesting thing.
Yeah,
Like we were
yeah.
talking about 10-5 offsuit. Ever
Hmm.
since I knew it has a name, it's the Westerville. in my mind.
Yes. Nice, nice,
It's
nice.
like it's like when you buy a car, keep seeing that car. Now that
Yeah.
I have a name for this hand, I keep it feels like I'm dealt it all the time.
Oh, well, lucky for you. I mean, it's such a
Yeah.
powerful hand. Yeah, that's amazing. I've got some good comments here in the YouTube chat. It blocks two different sets. That's right. And it also blocks two different four of a kinds, a great point. And you can flop two pair with it. So it's a very versatile hand, really, if you think about it. Let's see if Rob wants to defend here. He does. Not the board he was looking for, and I think Joe can take it away with a very small bet here. Yeah. And so as you can see in this game, like in this match alone, it hasn't gotten to showdown very often. Usually it's a question of one player betting and the other player folding, and that's just how it works when you play heads up like this and you're getting to the flop with really wide ranges. It's actually very difficult to make a hand. Usually what happens is one player provides an opportunity for the other to fold, and they take it.
So now Joe has quite a sizable chip lead. I mean,
Hmm.
and you're right. It hasn't been big pots. It's just been those small chipping away, small small pots. But he's more than Rob has, and so he's just built up that chip stack.
That's right. And this could get spicy here. They've both got a club flush draw. Um, but Joe's got the top pair to go with it. And a just calling in position by Rob there.
Hmm.
Gonna realize some equity. I think we'll get a bet from Joe. And unless Rob decides to,
Oh,
oh, okay. I thought we were gonna get a bet there, but maybe he's check hoping to get like into a check call mode and capture some bluffs from Rob.
right. So going back to the other hand where he had like second or third pair, and then he was betting. I think this is more or top pair you should bet
Mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
can be called by those second pairs, whereas the
Mm-hmm.
second and third pairs, I prefer those as bluff catchers because Rob's bottom of range air is might bluff if you allow him that
Yep.
opportunity.
I agree. But then again, you and I have never won MaREC Madness, so what
That's
the hell
true.
are we saying? Like, Joe, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's working.
That's true.
So this chip stack discrepancy, this becomes really, really relevant now when we get to this point where, Joe's actually got like 4.5 times the stack. That means that he can afford to take some flips and double Rob up once or even twice without it being the end of the world.
Yeah.
That's a great spot. Now the Joe's got a pair, Rob's got two. I know Rob's betting here, and it's going to be hard
Right.
for Joe to get away from this, I think.
Yeah, I think he just calls here.
And
This
now
might
we've got,
oh,
uh,
we have a boat there.
yeah, SPR of less than one.
So does Rob put it in, or does he just try to?
Well, we'll see what Joe does here, because Joe can rep this four, but chooses not to. And I'm sure Rob's just going to shove here. I guess he could try a
He
smaller
could go
sizing
small.
just to get
He can
called.
do a smaller size,
You could do like four big blinds or something, three and a half
like
big blinds.
three and a half.
Get a
Yeah,
get a crying call from exactly the kind of hand that Joe has. Oh, the almost all in. Let's see. And this is a tricky spot for Joe. He's got
right.
second pair and a decent
I
kicker.
like that he's thinking about it. He's
Yeah.
probably replaying the hand, kind of try and put Rob on a range.
Hmm.
Trying to identify what his bluffs might be. Uh,
And this is where that aggressive image comes back, right? To benefit you when you're making a bunch of bluffs and playing,
oh,
wide
oh,
range. Okay,
oh,
good
nice,
laydown.
nice, yeah.
Sniffed it out. Sniffed it out. I wonder if I couldn't tell if Rob actually showed it there. I don't think he did.
I don't think it did.
Right now you can tell the cards have like a pink overlay to them. I think that switches to white if they turn them over.
Hmm.
So now Joe's the guy with two pair, and Rob had top pair on the flop
See,
with
two
his
pair.
queen seven.
It's not that
Two,
hard.
yeah, two pair.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we just saw two hands in a row, right? I mean, somebody gets two pair.
Yeah, easiest thing in the
I
world.
mean,
Tell that to Kathleen Toomey. Tell that
uh,
to Maddie Bumpo.
yeah, she was fun to play with, play against, but yeah, the way I was running,
That was hard.
it wasn't fair.
Hard to
Yeah,
beat.
I was
Hard to beat.
impressed by her some of her folds because
Mm,
yeah, a lot of times I was like, well, she didn't have anything, and then I looked and I watched the replay. I was like, oh wow, she actually had top pair and folded. That was impressive.
yep. All right. So did get Joe did get some value there with that small raise. I love seeing that raise from Joe as well. Now I want to see some bluff raises from Joe in similar spots because he hasn't been afraid to pull the trigger on some check raises and some two bets post flop, but they have all been with value hands, which is great. That's where it starts. But I also want to see some I want to see some seizing of opportunity from weakness. Now, when you have a chip stack discrepancy like this, Joe can really afford to just sit back and, he doesn't have to take a chance of doubling Rob up. But that could be a bit of a trap. We kind of saw that with Kim and Rob last week.
Yeah, I think um you want to put some pressure,
Hmm.
or let me put it this way: I'd rather be the person putting it all in rather than having to, right,
Definitely.
have call the all in.
And honestly, in a heads up environment like this, you're basically raising every button anyway. So, to even add more pressure is almost hard to do without three betting more widely and
Hmm.
bluffing more post flop.
I think it depends on what you've witnessed on your opponent.
Hmm.
Are they allowing you to limp? All right. Are
Hmm.
they, if you limp, are they always raising you? S- Look, viewing that as weakness, or are they um overfolding? Like if you always do a 2x open, are they overfolding? So
Hmm. Hmm.
so it's playing those dynamics. But again, those dynamics change when the people get short stacks. Somebody who might not be willing to put it in before, well, I'm short. I got to put it in.
And I like how Joe is adjusting his opening sizing here. Now that Rob's down to like nine big blinds, actually, we saw Joe open to 3x. And I think that you're really there's a lot of arguments, or should you just be 2xing or shoving in spots like that? But I do think there's some argument for that larger sizing that he's choosing here because it
Yeah, you're
really does threaten the entire stack
right.
with
It
that.
almost says, "Hey, oh, I think it all goes in. I think this is,
Oh, this is it. This is
if
definitely
somebody
going to be.
chose ace ace, maybe they
It's a
might
good
be
choice. Good choice. Tends to win a lot of pots. Tends
they
to win.
might
Oh,
they
I
might
like the smooth. I like the smooth from Joe
I
there. It's just
yeah.
he's just
Although
gonna
if
get
he
it in on
if
every flop.
oh,
All right, runner
and
for
and
Rob.
and
That's what it's gonna take.
and nope.
Oh, that ain't it. All
So did
right.
anybody guess ace ace?
Ace Ace. That was the winner for round number one. I don't think we got any guesses. So congratulations to Joe
Yeah,
Coolis.
yeah. Our reigning champion is moving on to the next round, and his next opponent will be me.
Oh, okay. Exciting. Exciting times next week in round two of MaREC Madness. So our next match here, we've got Craig Savage versus Taylor Moss. So Taylor, we mentioned, is kind of like one of the Wrecking Crew OGs back in the day, putting this whole crowd together, and
Hmm.
a very active
He,
member
I
of our
believe, was the
Wrecking Crew.
inaugural winner of this event.
That is correct. He's actually the inaugural winner of several things here at Rec
Well,
Poker.
I wasn't going to mention that. I
It's
was,
kind of awkward. Actually, we don't love to talk about it, but it's true. We got to give him his due. Craig Savage, who joined the Wrecking Crew last fall as one of the fantastic folks that came over from 100K with Rob Gardner, and
hmm
Craig and Chris Long run the Teachers Bet study group on the first Thursday of every month. In fact, I think there's one this week on Thursday night where our members get a chance to go behind the curtain with them and get their play analyzed by a couple of really excellent poker players. So this is going to be a tough one. I think like Craig is a very, very skilled, experienced player. I think he's been one of those guys that's kind of on the cusp of
Mm-hmm.
being a pro for a long time. He hasn't quit his day job, but I know he's a very serious player. And that describes Taylor too. You know, like these are two guys that could definitely make it in the
Yep.
poker world, but they've got great jobs and great families and they like spending time on some things in their lives that aren't poker. I don't know what that's like, but sounds great. Um, so again, this is gonna
So
be
it's
another one of those games.
okay. So you're making a pick? Are you
Ah,
or are you
I
okay?
cannot make a pick with between these two. They're both so skilled. Um, my pick is card distribution.
Okay.
What about you? Are you getting a sense from one or the other?
Um, I'm gonna go with Craig just because new kid in the block, he has something to
Yep.
prove, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like it. And we do have some guesses coming in here. And we've got some good conversation happening already in the YouTube chat. And both players have the camera on here, so they will be
Yep.
staring into each other's souls and making live reads. Now these are both very experienced live players, so they might have something to gain from that. I think we'll see a bet from Taylor here when he picks up some draw equity on the turn.
Yeah. The old double gutter. Oh no, he
Uh-huh.
has open ender. He
Oh,
has
he's
open ender.
open-ended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's open ended.
I like that sizing. High equity, low showdown kind of hand. You'd really rather end the hand right here, but if he
Yeah,
does
yeah.
continue, then you've got a lot of outs.
Nice, tough with the bottom pair to
Hmm.
continue there.
So yeah, folks, get your guesses in. It's going to be
I wonder if we just get a flat or maybe even a three bet.
hmm
That's
It's early in the match, so like I said, it tends to be sort of like some small ball feeling out here, but not for Taylor
there's
Moss. He
there's a
says,
three
"I'm
bet. Yeah, I
pedal
like it. I
down."
like it. I
There you
like it.
go. And when your
I,
head's
I
up
actually
like
I
that,
actually like early in the match. Maybe
mm.
hopefully Joe Coulis isn't listening. Um, to kind of test the waters early on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I kind of like this. Maybe it's a mix three bet, but I'm gonna go here and see how my opponent responds.
nice. I like that. And I think, people underestimate how much another good draw for Taylor here. I think people underestimate how much our hand strength changes when we're heads up. Like if we're in a full ring or six max environment, we're not going to be three betting nearly as widely. It'll be like conventionally three betting. But in heads up like this, you promote a lot of your hands that would have been folds become calls. A lot of the hands that would have been calls now become three bets. And it's just because both ranges start so wide. Calling ranges have to be wider, three betting ranges have to be wider. And it's great seeing Taylor seize the reins right off the bat, kind of set the tone. Hmm. Craig says, you three bet. You don't have any fours, but I
Mm.
called. I might. Let's
No, here
see.
here I thought Craig was the three better
Oh,
in
you're
this
right. Yeah,
this hand.
this was the next hand. Good call. Thank you for keeping me in line. Taylor says I'm gonna find a better spot. I've got some cool stuff going on in the YouTube chat here. Yeah, DFS Brat, welcome back. Glad you've been looking forward to it. This should be fun. Congrats on your win last week. And Benny the Jet says, "Wow, just saw the news about next week's guest. That's so cool." Yeah, that's right. We got another little Canadian poker loving guy by the name of Daniel Negreanu coming on the podcast on Monday night. So come and join us on our this very YouTube channel on Monday, March 10th. No, is that right? Whatever next Monday is at
Right.
7:30 Eastern. It's going to be a really good conversation.
Check and I think Craig can just check. He has showdown
Yeah.
value. Oh, but he decides to try to clean up equity and bet
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
best hand.
And
Yeah, I
good.
mean he's trying to fold out what, maybe ace highs,
Ace high.
maybe
Yeah.
bottom pairs.
But I'm with you. When like we were just talking about promoting our hands when we get heads up.
Hmm.
Like king high is actually a very strong hand in heads up. All right, both players have a pair. Both players have a backdoor flush draw. I think we'll get a bet from Taylor here. Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, we're definitely gonna bet. Oh, this is interesting. So Craig picks up the flush draw, two pair for Taylor. Now surely we're gonna get a bet and probably a pretty big one, four bigs or something like that. Okay. Going to get called by a lot. Definitely get called by Craig here. Craig could even,
Craig likes check raise lines. I
I was
know.
going to say
Yeah.
this could even be a check raise spot.
With two pair, you're not going anywhere. Even if you are behind flush, you have some outs,
Yeah. This could be a
and they're
three bet for Taylor, honestly.
I don't. Oh, and
No,
he
it's
gets
just smooth
counter.
calls. Oh,
And he
no,
gets he,
brutal.
he gets
That's
counterfeited.
okay.
He's still ahead,
Still ahead, even despite
but
the
but it
counterfeiting.
can't
But
be
yeah,
comfortable. It cannot be
wow.
comfortable knowing that you're.
I
Ye-
know. Yeah, that's so gross. That's so gross. And Craig did take the check raise line on the turn. So now Taylor's a smart player though. He understands that even though he got counterfeit, the eight, yeah, there you go. That's
Oh,
a
very
very
nice.
savvy
Very
call
nice.
from my man Tay Tay. Nicely done, Tay Tay. All right. Now we'll get a call from Taylor here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean we're very rarely folding pre-flop
Hmm.
to single open.
Great board for both hands, honestly.
Yes, I
Craig
think I
Craig
think
continues.
we can get see a big pot. I think it potential to build here.
Yep. And I think a call or a
Yep,
raise is
there you
good
go.
here. Yep,
Raise, like
there
I
is.
said, yep.
That's it. Anything but fold. You don't love to see the diamond, but honestly, there's so many other kinds of hands that Craig can have that are continuing. I think we'll see a follow-up bet from Taylor here.
It's just a sizing. I'm just curious.
Hmm.
Small. Yeah,
Yep.
I think
Wants
out
to
of
get called by
position,
one
small.
pair. Yep. Nice spot. And again, lots of depth. We've got 60 big blinds in one hand and 85 in the other. So there's no time, no reason to start getting nervous or anything yet. Lots of chicken left on that bone, as my dad would say. And I think we'll get another bet from Taylor here. All right, kind of control, pot control, check back the 10 there. Now I think we get a value bet, two big blinds, something like that. Let's try and capture from a worse 10 or a 7.
Or
Three, there
flush
are some
draw, right? Yeah.
flush draws, even some straight draws out there. Yep. Easy lay down for Craig. And here we see some limping from Craig
Mm-hmm.
with and again, like Queen High is actually a pretty good hand. This is, it's not suited, it's not connected. This is one of the worst queens you could have. But it's still, just by rank of hands, it's still pretty good.
And two pair. Another two pair.
Yep. Sneaky little check from Taylor. Apparently it is easy to make two pair around here. Who knew?
It's two pair against flush draws. I mean, that's all this match is.
Now, do you like a raise here? And just trying to protect against another spade? Yeah, that's the theory. Try
Yeah.
and get called by one pair. And that's the other thing. I think players, if you're not used to heads up, you're like,
Mm.
oh, but there's a flush out there. Yeah, again, that's full ring talk. When players are actually getting to the flop with suited hands and that kind of thing. People are getting to the flop with
R-
so many offsuit
Right.
hands, and those combos just stack up so much faster than
Should
suited
see
combos.
an ISO here.
Yep, I would expect that. And I think if it's like four bigs, I think we'll get a call from Craig because
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are
Yeah,
connected hands.
I
He's in
think,
position. Yeah.
and he just
Wow.
smashes the womp.
Wow. So second pair and the flush draw, backdoor straight. Taylor's got two overs and the backdoor flush. Honestly, it's anybody's game here.
I like this check because when Craig limp calls,
Hmm.
as we can see, this board smashes his range.
Yep. Yep. But I think Taylor can continue here. He's got
Yeah, I
a
think
lot
he
of
can call
equity in the
once.
hand.
He can call once,
Yeah.
and now he's done with it.
Yeah. I think
We'll
that's
see.
right.
We'll see a check, check bet fold. Maybe sometimes Craig traps, but I doubt it.
Now, the other thing is Taylor could rep the hearts here himself because he's taken that call line when the flush draw was out there on the flop. So I hope, for his sake, I hope he doesn't take the line here because Craig actually has the flush. But it's not crazy for Taylor to just completely turn this into a bluff.
Well,
And
if the bet was smaller, then it would open the
I
door.
agree.
But with a bigger bet, you're not gonna check raise a bluff that often
Yep.
versus a bigger bet.
And I like just open folding 7-2 offsuit from Taylor. It's like he's got nothing to prove. I don't have to play every single combo. This is a lousy set of cards. Let's move on to the next. This one's
Expect,
definitely an open from from Craig.
yeah, and I expect just a flat.
Yeah. Well, this is another, kind of a sneaky good three bet candidate. While you've got stack depth to do it,
Ooh,
both make a pair, but this isn't a hand Taylor's going to go broke on, I don't think, based on the board texture.
but he will. He's obligated to call the flop bet.
Definitely. No help.
Nope.
So sizing. Oh, and really,
Sneaky check.
yeah. I'm kind of curious about that because I guess it's not a
So
very draw heavy board. Yeah,
yeah,
Eric.
I'm wondering if Taylor does makes maybe a blocking bet. Bet small.
Hmm.
Nope. He decides check.
And
Craig
uh,
definitely has to go for value.
yes, I agree. This is a lot of one pair hands that he beats. I'd like to see a bet of like four big blinds here or something like that. I think that's very
I like
callable.
smaller. I actually like
Yeah,
small.
yeah,
I like his size, this particular sizing.
yeah. This is kind of a tricky spot for Taylor. How frequently is Craig bluffing versus like value betting like a jack
Right,
or
right.
something?
When he bluff, I mean, of his bluffs, when he bluffs the
The
turn,
turn.
and I don't, and also the sizing actually screams call me.
Right.
So he probably entered into his thought process. Like when Craig, if he's bluffing, when he chooses a bigger size.
Yeah. Or bluff the turn. Right.
Right.
I think there's definitely something to that. DFS Brett says Craig doesn't bluff. Yeah, I doubt that very much, but we'll find out. We'll find out tonight. Good players bluff. Craig's a good player. Yeah, Benny, it's Diet Coke tonight, unfortunately. No fun. No fun tonight. Actually, well, this is awfully fun, but it's Diet Coke fun and not Grolsch fun. There's a little pickup for Taylor. Now here's another one of those, maybe this is a three bet for Craig.
Well,
It's
he could be.
could just be a call. Yep, I
Yep.
like it. It's got blocker value, it can turn it can make very good flushes. And similarly for Taylor, he's in an interesting spot. Okay, so
Oh,
here we
I
go.
think more money. Wow. Interesting that Craig doesn't follow up. Doesn't,
I
so
agree.
he three bets and he gets a flop that, I mean, one of the better flops he can have.
Oh yeah. Gotta
Now he's straight draw with a flush draw.
half pot. And Taylor's got second pair top kicker and a redraw to the wheel. So it's he's got a
Yeah,
lot of
right?
equity in this
Yeah.
hand. And Craig just fades every every draw possible, overs, flushes, straights, and now he has to decide, is he going to pull the trigger? hard to put Taylor on a five exactly. Oh yeah,
Oh.
here it comes. No,
Oh,
he's
it's
got
interesting that the camera's on because
yeah,
like
right. I'll tell you one thing, Taylor's not raising. Once he
Taylor
gets
Taylor
yeah.
he did not expect that
No,
that
no,
sizing.
no. And I like the attempt from Craig there. Like, it's hard for Taylor to continue there if he doesn't have exactly a five. He hasn't shown a lot of strength in the hand. Um,
And he probably ruled out 5-5 out of Taylor's hand.
oh, no chance.
Yeah, because he would have folded that
Because he's
pre-flop,
he's
I
met
think.
Taylor before. Yeah, exactly. So that's the TSN turning point of the match so far. We're definitely in a tricky spot for Craig now with 15 big blinds, and Taylor's sitting pretty at over 100. So like I said, we've seen folks come back from this, but definitely advantage
Yeah,
Moss advantage for Taylor.
it'll take a lot. It'll take, winning one or two all-ins
Yep.
perhaps for a comeback, but it definitely is possible. Uh you gotta keep battling until the last chip is gone.
Hmm. And yeah, Scott saying maybe if Craig had bet the flop, he might have gotten a fold there. Yeah, it's possible. I think Taylor probably holds on with even just the one pair on the flop. I think he flopped that five. But even still, I think generally speaking, that should
Just
be a
wonder what
bet from
Craig does.
Craig.
Is he gonna trap with a limp or is he just raising? He just plays it straightforward and raises.
Yeah. Craig's a tournament player. He knows how to play a small stack. And yeah, pretty good board for both players here.
A
Taylor's
jack,
ahead, but
a jack on the
yeah,
river would
Jack
be
would be
very spicy.
that'd be
But
dirty.
no,
I think
I
this
think
probably goes check check. I don't know.
I think maybe Taylor goes small and gets a crying call. Oh, he goes
Hmm.
big. He decides to
Says nope.
polarize.
Yep. He was ahead. Uh-oh. Taylor's holding one of Craig's outs. You get the limp, and so I'll be curious to see if Craig shoves or raises. He cannot just call here. It's too good a hand. It benefits from protection too much. There it is.
Goes one small bet.
Hmm.
There's his
Mm-hmm.
nap.
No, I think that's right though. It takes
No,
two.
the offsuit like high low is those are very hard to play.
Yeah. All right, there's the shove from Craig.
Okay, so Craig's gone into sometimes he's gonna open shove mode with his
Yep.
stack set.
And I like that he's choosing these kind of, again, king high. You're often ahead, and you don't really want to be playing like, king four, king five offsuit um, against players that know how to move the chips around. This might be the shove from Craig, but it is suited and connected. It might be one of these 2x opens, even down at this. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're really getting kind of a bead
And
on.
so in flop would be spicy, no
Hmm.
diamonds.
Right. Wouldn't that be something? Check, check. And now Taylor picks up the gut shot.
They both have good shots, but Craig has the
Yeah,
pair.
exactly. I think he's just trying to get I think even two big blinds here. You're planning to get it in on the river. And Taylor says, no, thank you.
Taylor with the pair head. He has some backdoors. Maybe he calls one
Mm-hmm.
big blind bet. No.
Mm-hmm. No, he's conserving those chips, so when he goes for the shove, he's got as many chips as possible for the double up. An interesting limp. I wonder if Taylor's gonna say yes. He's like, that's weird that you're limping now off this stack size. I'm just gonna put it
Hmm.
in and put you to the decision. And I love watching these players adjust to each other as the match goes on.
Right. To
And
each
sort
other
of
and the
like,
situation, right? And
yeah.
and the situation of the chip stack. Oh, it's going all in.
Yeah. And that's one of those ones right there where Taylor's like, okay, I'm gonna give him a chance to shove.
Right.
And See, needs Craig needs some help. It would take. Okay, well now it's
Right.
got to be a queen. Queens only. All
Oh,
right. Well,
oh,
love him or hate him, Taylor Moss wins another round in MaREC Madness. Good game, Craig. Uh, I know Craig will be back next year, but some great poker, some
oh yeah.
good people not turning down opportunities to bluff, some good value bets, some nice thin value there, some good trickery and
S-
trickeration. It was some good stuff. Love to see it.
I think somebody actually guessed that winning hand, which was ace 10.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw Evil Roy coming through with that one. Let's just go
Let's
back
double
to
check
the
that.
instant replay. Evil Roy Slade, ace 10.
There you
Congratulations.
go.
So Evil Roy, send an email to info@rec.poker to claim your fantastic prize. Dave's no stranger to the winner's circle. He's claimed a lot of prizes. Yeah, he hasn't bought a
He's
stand-up
constant.
desk
He's
like you have in some of these events, but still very impressive. Dave, one of the goats, and our first ever Lifetime Achievement Award winner in the home game club to get to 50 home game wins. Congratulations, Dave. All
he's
right.
he's
Now,
pretty cool.
this is going to be crazy. These are honestly, this is two of the best poker players I know. Chris Jones versus KL Cleaton.
Ooh.
So a couple titans of the game. Chris Jones, of course, runs our premium membership program here and has for many years. Another OG of the Wrecking Crew, and KL Cleaton, who joined the Wrecking Crew last year. One of my favorite people in poker, the originator of Range Trainer Pro, a fantastic solver out there, and also just an all-around good guy and awesome poker player. Um, Eric, what's your read on this one? Two excellent players. Does one have an edge? What's your take?
It's hard. Two excellent players and two players that have learned a lot about the game by providing content for others, right? Chris Jones, he prepares the deep dives and, just preparing those, he's learned a lot. And then KL, building the range training pro and using it, testing it. Um, he has learned a lot about the game. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Chris. I'm gonna go,
Home
yeah,
field
yeah,
advantage.
home field advantage.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to see this one. And it just goes to show, man, like when we I'm so impressed at the caliber of the players that we have here on the Wrecking Crew and in our premium membership. Like a lot of these folks, they really know how to play. And I think when you're playing
Should we
against other
start
players who
off with a three bet in the first hand?
oh yeah, I expect we
There
do.
we go.
And I think Chris comes along. It's only three and a half more, and he's got that connectedness. It'd be nice if it was suited. I know he calls if it's suited, but discipline fold.
So fold.
Disciplined fold. Yep. Michael Babker, did you choose King 10 again? I feel like
He's
this is
he's
I've been attacked. This is a personal attack from Michael Babker. I feel I feel attacked. Now, neither player has their camera on for this one. They're not giving away any edges. They're like, no way.
I believe
Too
they
much
again
respect.
I see the mic icon on, so I'm
Oh yeah,
thinking
so they're chatting.
they may be chatting. As we mentioned before, we don't listen in on their chat because we don't want to get distracted
Right.
and talk over them and give two audio tracks. So we just mute them for the audience, and you can just hear our commentary.
And a bad turn for Chris because it gives KL top pair. That might slow both players down though. Um, I'm guessing we get a well, Chris can rep some sevens here. But yeah, with a five, I think it plays more naturally as a check. And let's see what I think
I think
a small value
I
bet from
I think
here.
he goes small value. Yep.
Me
Oh,
too.
oh, 1.1. I mean,
That
come
is
on.
small value. Yes.
That's
As an I'm
one of
bovine in the
those
YouTube
like
chat. That's great.
annoying that I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to call.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, I guess he could. Oh yeah. No, he can't. You can't fold there with a pair to
No.
that sizing.
No, with two flush draws on the turn. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm getting trolled in the YouTube chat. Jesse came to the forums edition last night, and he had a little needle for me in the forums edition last night too. I love it, Jesse. I'm so glad you're um, getting involved and joining all these events and having a good time. And congratulations, Jesse was the winner of our very first coaching session with Matt Affleck. So Matt Affleck, who joined the Wrecking Crew
And Ace
this
King
year.
hits his draw on that flop.
Yes, that's right. It is a drawing hand.
Mm.
Um, the one of the things we're doing to help our premium members explore the game is every time you come to a premium membership event at Rec Poker in the month, you kind of get like a raffle ticket. And the more premium membership events you attend, the more tickets you get. And then we do a draw at the end of the month. And the first prize is a 1 hour coaching session with Matt Affleck, Wrecking Crew member and fantastic guy. And the second prize is a 1 hour coaching session with Mark Zhang, a phenomenal pro player and a really excellent coach who's been on the Wrecking Crew for about a year and a half. And very, very excited to see these guys get more involved in our membership and really start um, training up, coaching up some of our members. So every month, one of our premium members is going to be getting a 1 hour coaching session with Matt Affleck, and every month one of our premium members is going to be getting a coaching session with Mark Zhang. So attend those premium events, folks, and get your first month of Rec Poker Premium for only $5.
Oh,
Lots of value there. Now
Spicy River.
the flush comes in for Chris. It does bring a second
Chris,
pair. Chris getting real sneaky here. I think we should see a small bet from KL, maybe like two bigs. Oh no,
no,
getting very getting
no, I think it's a bluff catcher at that point. I mean,
yeah.
what do
Yeah,
y'all?
with the king with the over, the paired 10. You're right. That's a good point. The flush up.
Yeah, I would have preferred a small bet from Chris there.
Hmm.
Of course, it's easy for me to say I see that KL has a
That helps.
river pair. That
That
one
helps.
always helps.
Oh, Jesse in the chat, he says, to be honest, I'm a little bit intimidated. It's kind of like going to your first karate class and Bruce Lee is the teacher. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But honestly, I encourage all our members, and not just Rec Poker members, but anyone, if you're listening, um, people think like, oh, I'm not good enough at poker to get coaching. I haven't taken my game to a high enough level that it's worth it to get coaching. That's completely wrong. It's when you're learning, when you're trying to grasp the fundamentals, when you have a lot of room to improve, that's when coaching is the most efficient, where you can make the biggest gains, the biggest shortcuts, when you have more to learn. So I would embrace it. Um,
Another
and
another thing to think about, if you plug a leak today instead
mm,
of 5 years from now, think about how much more EV you've gotten in 5 years if you
yeah,
plugged a leak today
yeah.
rather than waiting 5 or 10 or whenever
That's
down
it,
the
man.
road.
Like I learned poker. I was mostly self-taught. I watched videos, I listened to podcasts, I read books. But when I joined Rec Poker in 2019, um, of course I track all my hands in Poker Tracker that I play online. I used to play online quite a bit, and you can see my graph tick up literally the month that after I joined Rec Poker, my green line goes up in a pretty remarkable way. It's just there's a lot of benefit to joining a community, talking about poker with other people, having them challenge your assumptions. Um, yeah, so Jesse, you're really in for a treat. And I think I don't remember who won the second place prize, but there's going to be, I'm really excited to see these lessons take off with our premium members.
So KL again with the small bets.
Hmm. Now, if this continues, this could be a very long match because these two players, no, seriously, because these two players know how to small ball. And like I said at the top, they're not going to get out of line. They're going to be making disciplined folds, thin value bets. Um, if players are playing small ball and they're showing that kind of discipline and savvy, then um, these kind of matches can go on.
Wonder if this
Now,
is a three bet candidate.
I was just gonna say, because this is one of the worst aces, right? It's
Yeah.
ace six and ace two offsuit.
I sometimes put in my three bet.
Me too. And it's a three bet fold, right? Like it's one of those hands that's got blocker value. You hate playing it post flop anyways. So if they come back over the top, it's easy
Oh
to
yeah,
let it go.
easily. Yeah.
Um, and it is kind of hard to play out of position if you make a pair, even if you don't make a pair.
I
Curious to see
wonder
if
if,
Chris plays in
yeah,
flow. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, is Chris gonna go to the 1 to 1.1 big blind bet versus
Yeah.
KL? Are we
Yep.
going the leveling war with the how small can you bet?
Right. And I love, these players are both so experienced that they really know the flow of the game. And so they're really playing range versus range for a lot of this match. It's going to be a lot less of sort of what's my actual hand. It's going to be more what does my opponent think my range of hands are and how do I want to play that range of hands. Benny asking, upward graph? What's that? That's awesome, Benny. You're such a fun guy. Yeah, got to get into more of those Rec Poker Premium sessions, and then you'll be able to show us what an upward graph looks like. So definitely get the open from High Hands 89 here, our man KL. This is an easy call for Chris, I think.
Yeah. Uh,
But again, like we should be looking for three bet
there
candidates.
you go.
Yes, there you
Yes,
go. Something
yes.
was telling me.
Yeah, that
Something was
little
telling me.
pause,
It's
you're
like,
like, oh, he didn't
yeah,
just it wasn't an automatic click call. He thought, you know what? And with a hand this strong, heads up, I don't doubt KL's going anywhere.
no, but that is a good board for Chris with the flush draw, the backdoor straight. And he could even go. Actually, he's got two backdoor straights. No, no, he doesn't.
No, it
Never
doesn't.
mind.
You were,
Poker's hard.
I was sure, I was trying to
Poker's
figure.
hard. Like, no, just the one. Uh, and the front door flush does continue. There you go. And that's why you three bet with hands like this. Because then you've got range advantage. Your opponent caps their range when they call. And listen,
Mhm.
flops are hard to hit. So if you can project strength by continuing from a three bet to a continuation bet, now you also win a bigger pot because your opponent has called that three bet pre-flop. So it is really important um, to sneak in some of those less top down three bet candidates. And you know me, Eric, I'm always looking for a good candidate for a three
Right.
bet.
Oh, interesting that Chris did not see bet in this on that particular board. He put that in his checking range.
Hmm. Now that time
Uh,
he did have a backdoor flush and a backdoor straight, which actually does also make a good candidate to continue because you pick up a lot of equity.
right. And I don't think any more money is going to go in from Chris's side. I think he's
Yep. I like the value. I like the thin value bet from KL there. And I think this one probably goes open from KL and a fold from Chris. If he's going to be folding any hands, it's going to be hands
yeah.
like this. Yeah. And I think Chris is probably continuing at a very high frequency to these min opens from KL. So that's going to be one of those very few hands that he actually does not continue with. Chris is thinking like, why can't there just be a single diamond on the board? This would make this so much easier. But I
But it
like the
doesn't
bet.
deter him. It does
Nope, I
not
like the
deter
bet.
him.
Paired boards like this, again, we were talking about this earlier, is kind of like monotone boards. They're very hard to hit, and so I think people overfold. It's very hard for people to meet their minimum defense frequency versus small bets. So they're good candidates for range betting with small sizing. Pretty good flop for
But
Chris's hand.
hard to hit doesn't mean impossible.
It's true. That's right.
So do we
He's
do
just,
you
yeah,
call or
exactly.
do
Do you
you do you,
call?
do you check raise?
I like the call here, honestly, because oh, all right, there you go. They're both, I mean, they're both good choices, but you have to be check raising these with like 9, 10,
Right.
7, 9,
What are your
some of
bluffs?
these
Right,
bluffs.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're raising with your value hand, what are your bluffs that you were raising
Hmm.
with? Oh, I'm wondering if KL three bets this. He could be. I think he does that at some frequency.
Yep. Pretty good board for him too.
Yep. He decides to go with the flat.
And this might be
Some
a check back from
Yeah, it
Chris.
could be. Could be
No, I
sometimes.
like the bet though. I like the bet. You just
Okay.
want to keep
And then sometimes this is the check raise.
definitely, definitely. And this is a good candidate for it too.
Gut shot.
Um,
Back flat. Yep.
yeah, there it is.
Yep. Because yeah, KL is saying this is my board. This low.
Hmm. And I think, Chris can honestly can call or fold here. He still has a fair amount of equity in the hand. And this is the kind of board that hands like 6, 7, 5, 6,
Yeah,
5, 2. There are gonna be
he
um
knows. Yeah.
some bluffs.
Yep.
And he does even pick up some equity there too on the wheel. Um, but I think another reason why it's important to see bet on a small sizing in spots like this is just that on future streets you can continue the story of strength. When you check back, it really tells your opponent, oh, like this player just never has a pair here.
Right.
And I think this will get the fold um, from Chris. But these two are so savvy. They kind of know. Well, he wants me to fold, so should I just continue? Ace Queen high is actually a head here. A lot of the time it's a head right now, for instance. But I like the sizing from high
All right.
hands. He's really putting him in a tricky spot.
It's the best spot. I'm always wondering, like, how much do you consider, like, if I call here, then what's my stack versus my
Yeah,
opponent's stack, right?
yep. It's a great point. Because even just with that hand, so KL's taking a
Yeah, right,
small chip lead.
right. And if Chris called and he's wrong, then well,
Hmm.
he's in really dire straits. Whereas now, he can, you know, he's behind, but he's still in the fight here.
Definitely.
We have a
We're going to be
gut
checking
shot.
range here.
Yeah,
We'll see a
top
continuation
pair.
from KL for sure.
Just always wondering. Yeah, nope.
Well, how about that? Oh,
Well,
wow.
one,
Sneaky, sneaky.
you're gonna spike the strain on the turn.
I thought with the hearts out there, that would be enough to get him to fire that one, but this is not going to end well for Chris. Firing top pair now, and he doesn't know
Nope,
that
nope.
KL's got the
He
wheel.
is drawing dead.
Drawing dead. Now there are double flush draw out there. Do you call or raise here, Eric, if you're in KL spot?
Might nope. I was thinking a race, but
So all that means is that you just cannot get the bottom chip in here. When you just call there, you're basically just the pot geometry is such that you're never gonna get the whole stack. Which, I don't know if that's the cash game player in me. I'm always trying to think about like how can I get the
I think
river
Kale goes with a big bet.
SPR to one?
He's
Yeah.
gonna say, "Hey, I missed a
My
flush
flush
draw."
draw missed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There it
and
is. Nice.
ooh, let's see if Chris can sniff it out. I
It's
mean,
tough. It's
it
tough
is
for Chris
tough,
because he's got
like tough.
second pair and
I mean,
you know,
he's become second pair. It was top pair in the flop and the turn, but his kicker isn't the greatest.
hmm like two missed draws. That doesn't help. Does KL get here with a lot of queens? I'm not sure that he does. So the
Right.
story that KL's, telling um isn't doesn't quite jive for a queen. Little do we know that he's not actually saying I have a queen. Yeah. Use that time bank, Chris. This is what Rob Washam always says. Take your hand
hmm
off the mouse, use the time, make the best decision you can.
So far, we've seen Chris make these laydowns. You know, This is where you kind of level yourself. Well, I laid these down. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Is he just trying to run me over? But it makes the
No,
discipline flow. Nice, nice.
it shows the 10.
They I
That's
think
that's
KL
it.
I
That's
think KL showed
interesting.
it as well. I
Oh,
think.
did he?
I
All right,
think.
nice.
Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I thought that was what's going on.
I really like the sizing from KL. Just puts Chris in a difficult spot, and
Hmm.
Chris is the kind of player that knows he's supposed to defend that, when it looks bluffy like that.
Right. So Chris has saved himself some chips.
Yep,
He has
that's
saved
right.
himself some chips, and that's all you can do is give yourself an opportunity for when the cards distribution runs your way.
Hmm. Now, I would not have shown the 10 if I was in Chris's
Mm,
spot there because you're showing folding second pair. And that's the kind of situation where now KL knows that Chris is like conserving chips and making some tough laydowns. Is that going to encourage him to get bluffier? And then, we're back into that leveling war again,
right.
where, well, he knows that I know that he turned this down, and so it's tricky. Yeah, we got a comment from Taylor Moss in the chat here himself saying KL could easily have had a Queen X of hearts or Queen X of spades there. Yep, that's right. So that makes it a fold. Yeah,
That's true. Some of his draws that didn't hit the draw did hit the queen.
that's true.
So, Chris goes with his gut shot.
Yeah, both
It's a
got a gut
bluff.
shot here.
I think KL calls. King high is sometimes good. He
I
does
think so
have the gut
too.
shot.
Yep.
He has a little leeway with the chip lead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but he lets go.
Very
No.
disciplined. Seems like
Okay.
these
The
yeah,
chips should go in.
this is gonna
The
get
chips should
messy.
go in. Okay, some chips should go in. I don't think KL folds to the three bet.
Yeah.
He might even sometimes four bet bluff
Mm-hmm. He's in
or
position, which
four
I
bet not
think,
even thinking it's a bluff.
yeah, honestly, depending on the kind of hands that we
And yeah,
see. Oh,
yeah.
wow. He
So
totally Binkley'd that flop, didn't he? Now
yeah,
it's
but
tricky.
I remember you're the ones with the rivers though.
Nice. Great callback. Great callback. Yep. Nothing made that was one of my favorite hands. One of my
I
favorite hands ever
I
here.
think I think Chris calls one,
Yeah.
but I think he calls one. Yep.
Yeah. And that's
And
that's the
yeah,
kind of card that might get him to call another street here too. It's another under. I'm pretty sure Chris checks here. Yeah. And then we should definitely see another. You know, KL's really just got to be worried about like ace queen that makes the three bet there. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then this, you
this
know what? I
this
think this actually
this
goes
saves
check
money.
check now.
I think this saves Chris money.
It does. This goes check check
It's keep
because of
Gets him
the
Chris.
pre-flop action. Either one of them could have an ace. Very curious. I wonder if we get one of those. I was gonna say, I wonder if we get one of those just like those tiny bets from KL. He's been capturing that value really well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing for Chris here is like he's getting such good odds. Like he really just has to call.
Yeah.
Um, KL could have spades. There's other kind of hands out there. Um, but Chris is behind KL's value range 100% there. So just has to be giving him credit for bluffing. Probably goes check, bet, call. If I had to guess, we'll get
You
I
think
do
it's a
like
call?
I think depending on the sizing, if it's like one and a half or two bigs, yeah, I think we'll get a call from one and a half. Oh no, okay, there you
No?
go.
Yeah,
Savvier
I
player than
mean, I
me.
don't think he had enough. I don't. Yeah, even though you know your opponent is, c betting range,
Hmm.
I don't think you have to call. You should have
everything.
hands that you do give up
That's
with.
a good point. That's a good point. He had like a backdoor flush and two unders. Now this time I do expect to see a small bet from KL. And again, this is less about even capturing value, although you will get some value from worse hands, but it's more about continuing the story.
Or equity denial, right? So I mean, even though Chris
Yes,
was
that's true.
behind with the nine high, if he hits a nine, he's
It's
all
a
of a
great
sudden
point.
going to hit.
Great point. We got Ty Bloggin in the chat. Hey, welcome,
Oh.
Joseph. I love these things. Been watching this at two speed to catch up to the live stream. We found really sleepy. We sound really sleepy at one time speed now. Yep. That's how I listen to all my podcasts too, Jesse. Whenever I hear the theme music in normal time, it always jars me a little.
Does
This is
the
another one
Chris
of those just
fold?
bad
Does he
hands. It could just be a fold. This might be the bottom of the calling range. I think we saw him fold 9-3
do you three
offsuit.
bet it
So
instead of calling?
yeah, yeah, yep. I like the way you think.
I would, yeah, I would have folded, but I would almost prefer a three bet rather than a call.
Yes. Now both players have two overs. High hands got the high card. But Chris has more draw equity.
Yeah, he leads out saying, "Hey, this low board is better for me as the pre-flop just caller."
That's right.
I think Chris, yeah, Chris
Yeah.
calls correctly.
I think we'll actually get another bet from KL here. Chris is kind of
Continue the story.
yeah, and Chris by just calling there, he hasn't, given KL any reason to slow down. If KL thinks he can get his king to showdown, that would be the argument for checking, but it's tough out of position.
Right. And as we can see, he is actually ahead.
Yeah. Maybe this is I mean, Chris still has two overs to the board, and he's getting really good odds on the call here. Um,
Nah, I don't see how he continues with just a call.
the eight might not even be clean.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah,
Wow. He continued,
he's
but
holding
again,
on.
right. But as we can see, he was holding on with worse hand.
Now, here's the opportunity.
Okay.
This is
So
one of the
so this
reasons why
right.
you
So
stick on,
is
right?
this why, right? Is this
What like we were talking about taking actions on early streets so that you can represent things on
okay?
later streets.
There
This
we
is
go.
exactly it.
Nice,
There you
nice.
go.
Okay,
That's
that
what we're
was the
talking
plan.
about.
Okay, so his
Nicely
call
done.
was I'm in position. I can go for it on the river if I see the opportunity.
Yep,
Now, is this a three bet?
I think it is. And yeah, that's it exactly, Eric. It's sort of not there's more value in your hand than just the hand itself. If you're in position, if you can still sometimes steal pots on future streets,
There we go. He goes with a small three bet.
yeah, sizing down for the stack size. This is a clear continue from KL. I think they could decide to get frisky here. In position, I think this is just a straight call.
I think it's just straight call.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get a continuation from
C bet
Chris.
and not much for KL, so I think he just folds. Yep.
Yep, let it go. And again, nice little pickup from Chris, bringing the stacks closer
Well,
together.
yep.
That three betting is valuable. Just build up a little pot.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
are we gonna be singing
Uh-oh.
the song?
Who's doing their scales? Someone should be warming up. That's
So not the best, but a one gapper. Is that
Yep.
enough call? Heads up.
I think it's enough to call. I was even considering is
Yeah.
this one of those hands
Oh,
that's maybe even like and again, like
interesting.
we're looking for three bets
Right,
here. So
right.
now they
Interesting. Do you turn your gut shot into a check
hmm
raise?
I think we're probably betting KL should be betting here at a pretty high frequency
All
because
right.
he's just never going to win this pot, um, unless he hits the gut shot, or gets Chris to fold. So,
Or if Chris decided to start getting spicy. No. Oh,
oh no, with the possible
oh
redraw for
no.
KL. So they
And
both
Chris
made the
and
straight on the
KL is
turn.
just free rolling.
Nom
He's
nom
just
nom.
free rolling. Oh, this is gonna be he's free rolling in a pot that could get pretty big.
Now, I'm curious about the sizing. KL's definitely going to bet. Oh yeah, and goes for about 2/3 because the flush is scary. But again, when your head's up like this, you shouldn't be as scared of the flushes because
Yes.
players are getting there with so many offsuit hands.
Right, exactly.
He's much, much, much more likely to have one diamond in his hand
Oh,
instead of
yep,
two.
yep.
Oh yeah,
Chris knows him. He is
I love
actually
it.
he
I love
is
it.
actually building a pot in a that's a free roll for KL. It's
Yeah.
just
Now, the only thing for KL is that his diamond is so low. But he's also redrawing to the straight flush. Six of diamonds would bring the straight
oh
flush on and
oh,
it goes for the shove. Yeah, and
oh.
I think and Chris just has to call.
I mean
Um,
he's hating it, but he's
I think so. And I think if
you know what?
KL
I'm
does he
actually
shove a flush? Does he shove a flush here?
yeah.
He doesn't need to. He could make
He
it
he he
smaller and
he he could be shoving smaller flushes, right?
yeah.
A
Joe
nine,
just
if
to
you had a nine high
protect against.
flush, right? If you had a nine
Yeah.
high flush, right? Maybe you just want to get it in on the turn.
So I'd love to know what. So Chris is just thinking like,
So
okay, so what's he doing this with?
it's interesting because we know that Kale is re-rolling. Now, I'm wondering if the math works out that maybe it is a fold because Kale is free rolling.
Right.
It'd be an interesting spot
Mm-hmm.
to look at the math
Mm-hmm.
later on.
Mm-hmm. This
All
is
right.
kind of let's see if we can like flag this hand and put it in the Discord later, or in the forums, because this would be an interesting conversation to have on the podcast, actually. There's a lot of pressure in this spot here. This is
Right. I
for
mean, his
Chris's tournament life.
turn in life. All right. He
He
could be
goes
behind.
for it.
He could
He
be
goes for it. All right. I mean,
absolutely
I really
behind.
like the
Oh,
play here. All
and
right.
all we get to do is sing a song. Everybody loves Chop
Oh,
Pot.
there you go. I thought you nailed it that time, Eric.
Thank you.
Nailed it. All right. Well, it's an exciting. I knew this was
Ah,
going to be an exciting match, man. These guys are so good at this game. Makes me want to get better at this game just watching these guys work, I swear. So those chip stacks are pretty close to even.
mm-hmm.
KL's got 40 and Chris has 33. So definitely anybody's game. And we'll see how Chris responds to this continued 2x opening from high hands. Now, if Chris checks here, we're definitely going to see this is exactly the kind of board that KL should be betting at a high frequency. It's hard to hit. It's ace high. It really maps onto his range well, and he happens to have second pair, which benefits from some protection. Pretty easy fold for Chris there. Hmm.
Wonder what Chris does with this. Oh,
Yeah,
he actually says,
he's
"Oh,
not. It's connected. He's got the button. You
I
know,
think
you
it
just.
goes. I think it goes three bet fold."
I think it does too. I think it does too. Yeah, and I haven't been tracking the sizes of the three bets. I think we've seen just some slight variation, but in that same sort of 3x range, which makes sense for this dynamic. Here's another spot where you're out of position. This is a hard hand to play, ace six offsuit. Stack's getting a little shorter. Chris decides just to smooth call. If he can get this ace to showdown, it's often a winner.
I think small bet call.
Yeah, just like we were talking about, hard boards to hit, no flush draw, no straight draw. It's a paired board, so there's only so many hands out there that Chris can have to continue. But ace high is one of them, I think.
Oh,
Oh
he
yeah,
decides.
what a
Oh, he
boss.
decides.
What a boss. There you go. And this is it. This is the leveling war, right? We're saying, okay,
Right.
this is
Well,
a board that you should be c betting at a high frequency, which means that a lot of your bet range has error in it. So we're gonna try and take it away.
right. But he you did it you weren't bluffing because you did have the better hand.
Right. But
It's always
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. That's a
but
good point.
you do deny equity.
Yeah.
So it's not a
Asinine
it's a bummer.
Bovine is saying that Eric, you sing that so much better than the other guy, he who must not be named. Yeah, no lies detected. No lie detected, Jesse. I think Eric did a wonderful rendition. I hope we get to
I
hear it again.
appreciate
Now that he's warmed up a little, warmed up the throat. His instrument. I want to see what we can get.
yeah. Not getting anything more out of Chris there. It's gonna be interesting.
Hmm. If this is at all like the Eric Jin Kathleen Twomey match last night, the flop will have 1-9. It'll be like 4-5-9 or something like that. Oh no, no, not bad, not bad.
Well, spade.
We are seeing a lot of these paired boards like we were talking about. They're kind of hard to hit.
Right.
So they get again, we'll see a bet from Chris here.
Yep, he
Uh
wants to deny equity, right?
yeah,
If he folds out king queen, actually that's not bad because those have a lot of equity.
exactly. Even hands like
I
10
wonder if
Jack.
KL gets spicy maybe if
Mm-hmm.
it says, "Hey, I have some backdoors here." Yep, I don't
Yeah, I
think you
love
hit
it.
it either.
Yep.
And
He's
Chris
got
has a
more threes.
call.
Oh, I love the folks in the YouTube chat having a good time. Always warms my heart.
Being
All right, I think
hit.
Chris correctly holding on there.
So do you bet? Oh,
Wow.
okay. Well, now
And Chris is just hoping that
hoping
KL's gonna
Kale's like, oh,
continue here.
please, please have a three. Please have a three. He's saying, please have an eight. But not set. But
Yeah,
luckily for Kale, he doesn't have those, and he can just fold to whatever Chris's bet is.
but I think he might. Okay, no, he is just gonna check and there's no way he continues.
No.
Um, and so what's the sizing for Chris here? You definitely want to get called. What are you targeting? An eight, a three
It's
probably bets. So like four. Oh, okay. Oh, he's
mm,
really going for it. I like it. All right, five on the flop would make things real interesting here.
well, this is an interesting board as well, even though there isn't a five.
Hmm.
Top
Yeah, top
pair, up, open end straight draw, and the open end straight draw.
with the
Six would be
yeah,
really,
exactly.
really spicy.
Muy spicy.
So
So
I'm wondering, okay,
yeah, I was gonna say no folds. I know that for sure. I think this is probably another check, but this is the kind of board that Chris can rep now. He has a lot of fours when he calls that flop bet. So he could rep this here because he's basically, he's seven high in a straight draw. But we'll definitely get a bet from KL and probably
does he want to polarize with a larger bet or kind of reel him in with a smaller bet? He decides to polarize.
this isn't a crazy spot for a check raise, honestly. You got seven high,
Hmm.
no showdown value, a lot of equity in the hand. Your opponent doesn't have a ton of fours. I guess the larger bet sizing dissuades that a
Yeah,
little.
that's exactly that's what I'm thinking. But let's like thing is when it's a paired board, your straights actually decrease
It's
in
true.
value,
It's true.
as well as there is a flush draw, right? If it's a spade that comes and completes your straight, are you that happy?
And I think KL just showed the five and not the
Mm,
four. So he showed the
mm.
straight draw, but not the trips. So he's trying to get in Chris's head a little here and showing some of these bluffs, even though that wasn't an actual bluff. That was definitely a value bet. I love that. Couple of back doors and an over for our man KL. That's a good candidate for a raise, but goes for the smooth
All
call.
right.
So I think we'll probably check in flow here then. Yep. And Chris might try and just get that ace to showdown.
Ah.
Oh
Or
no, goes for it. Very nice. Very
so
nice.
I'm wondering with the ace of hearts, he can represent the heart draw. So if a heart comes,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he blasts it saying, "Hey, I had the heart." So here's the thing about these low boards. Heads up, where actually both opponents have those low cards in their range.
Mm. Yeah, good point. As you see,
Yep.
good example.
So bottom pair versus middle pair, straight draw, backdoor straight draw for Chris, as well as KL, but KL also has that backdoor flush draw
Mm.
for
Hmm.
clubs.
Oh man, interesting.
Hmm.
So two pair for KL, but it does bring in the straight draw for Chris. Double flush board though, so a lot of,
Yep, he goes with the larger sizing. Target.
and you can see why the sizing is so important here. The difference between a 1/4, a 1/3 pot bet and a 2/4, 2/3 or 3/4 pot bet. It really puts these kind of marginal hands from Chris in a difficult spot where you don't quite have enough equity to continue as a call. You have enough that you don't really want to fold. Like raising doesn't feel right because of the sizing.
Hmm.
So just a good. I'm enjoying seeing these players putting their sizing work to work here. I expect this one will go 2x and then a call from KL. As9 Bovine asking about the Somsky ratio. It is the Somsky ratio, and it's very close to one right now. Very low Somsky
Hmm.
ratio, which means that it's anybody's game. Okay, both players with a jack, but
Jack high flop would be
big advantage.
would have potential of fireworks.
Hmm.
Not
Okay,
Jack
it's
high, but there is a Jack in there.
yeah, and this one was
Okay,
an
I'll
open and
just
a call.
now this is interesting because with middle pair, mm, weak kicker, he does still go with the range bet. So
I hear what you're
he's
saying though. It's a good candidate. He doesn't benefit from protection really on this run out. You can kind of maybe get more value by
all right. So does
betting the turn.
Chris check raise? No, he does not.
Now, it's not a card Chris really wanted to see, but he's got to still feel like he's ahead.
Yeah,
It's just so hard to get value out of position in this game.
yeah. Actually, is unbeknownst to him, good card because it keeps the Jack as a second pair. So
Hmm.
KL probably is feeling confident with the second pair here.
And now it's actually harder to check raise, I think, um, just because there's more hands that are ahead. Yeah, but I think I like a bet from Chris on the river. Yeah.
It's tough because what's your story there?
Hmm. It just feels like the kind of run out where KL's going to check behind a lot of the middle strength hands that might call a
So
small bet.
does this fall into our three bet
I
range?
th I think so. I think so. The there's a bit of a shift in the stack sizes now. So Chris has about, oh, okay, there we go. Chris has about 1.5 to 1, but now again, it's very, very close.
Yeah, we're very close to where, our three bets and possible four bets are going to be start getting all ins.
Hmm. This one could get dirty. Both players have
Again,
flopped top pair.
these jack eye, these, these jacks on the flop are giving us some action here.
Yeah. I th-
Now, one thing
Now,
that could help, I mean, if we have hive cards that run out, it could end up being a chop pot, but
yep.
let's see how.
I've heard everybody loves those.
No, actually, no, the nine's going to play either way. So,
Oh yeah, it is now. Yeah.
yeah,
But you got those overcards. This probably goes check, check, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, a four or a five would be a chop. Great point, type login. Thank you. So I think we're just trying to get called by worse jacks, 5x, 4x.
right. This
It's a,
almost
it's a,
feels like a blocking bet.
yeah,
I don't want to call a bigger bet than this, so I'm just going to put it out myself. And
yeah.
sometimes my opponent might call with something worse.
And I do like that blocker bet when the alternative is checking and then maybe calling a bet, a bigger bet and just not knowing.
Right.
That check call is such a gross spot
Yeah.
to be in. I've been trying to just like force myself to make more blocker bets in spots like that.
So, oh, uh,
Hmm.
we seem to have a lot of
Yeah, there have been a lot
paired
of paired
boards,
boards in this
and
one.
like we said, hard to hit, but not impossible.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think, I'm glad Chris is betting that board because, like I say, if it's a board where you're bluffing at a high frequency, you really have to also include your value hands, I think. Okay, we got the
Gut shot
gut shot
and
for,
versus a pair,
mm-hmm,
as well as backdoor flush
mm-hmm.
draw. Chris can only call king. I mean, KL could keep telling a story because
I
these
think
ace
with
and
this
kings are.
hand, I think he does.
Yep,
Yeah.
can use
It's
the
just
story.
such a bad hand.
Mm-hmm.
And shows this one. There you go. He's like, yeah, that's right. I 2x 3-2.
Chris gets a premium, but sadly his opponent doesn't
Yep.
have much. But hey, seven high flop. No,
I know, like, right?
not even.
King King 7-3. King 7-3.
He couldn't even get the flop. Couldn't even get that far. Does Chris give this up? That's a pretty bad hand.
Pretty bad. It might be connected enough. Yeah,
Okay.
and it
And he
also,
hits a two, which uh is, is likely to get him in tr a little bit of trouble because
yeah.
he's thinks he calls.
Should see a small bet from KL
Yep,
here, and I think you're right. I think
he
we
has.
probably call.
Yeah, I mean we've seen KL has been range betting the
Hmm.
sizing a lot, if not always. So, oh, he
Oh, there you go,
decides he's
Chris. I
blocking
love this
bottom
guy.
set. So,
That's amazing. Right? Yeah, yeah. And there will be a lot of,
okay.
he could be
So
check
this,
raising a lot of
yeah,
draws there.
right. So does Chris represent? Hey, I also have flush draws.
Mm-hmm.
I check raise.
Mm-hmm.
Can you the story? It'd be hard for Kale to hang on with the spade. Yep, and
Yeah,
with
nicely done.
yeah, nice. I love the turning your pair into a bluff. That
Me
is,
too.
I has my approval.
The folks in the YouTube chat also approve. As Nine Bovine, we've seen both these guys win pots they should not have. This is a brawl for sure.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, oh my God, what a boss play, right? There you go. I think turning pairs into bluffs is one of those things that it's in your evolution as a player. As we're less experienced recreational players, we mostly just want to get our hands, our made hands to showdown, even bad pairs. And knowing when to turn them into bluffs and apply some pressure with them instead, I think is a real uh, threshold that players pass through.
Okay,
So,
so with his open ender, Kale decides to check raise. I think Chris calls with, I mean, he's got, oh, doesn't he? Gives it up.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's a good candidate for KL there. He's got the open ended in the
Oh,
backdoor
yeah.
flush.
You want to have your bluffs have some equity, and that had plenty.
Hmm. Now the Somsky ratio is back to almost one exactly. It would be hard
Wow,
for these
it's
players to be more
incredible.
evenly matched.
Yeah,
And these guys are so skilled and experienced that even as we get down to the average chip stack only being 25 or 30 big blinds, I still think we're going to see a lot of small opens and small three bets. We're not going to start seeing players shoving until it gets a
right,
little smaller.
right. Unless we get, a cooler situation. Uh,
I'd like to see a bet from Chris here. He's blocking some of the better flush draws. Um, And then I think now if KL checks, then Chris can check behind. But Chris has kind of opened the door for a bluff here from KL.
Features, I'd love to see it. I think sizing, I think Chris just, it's a click call based on the sizing.
Yeah. I mean, it's fourth pair. But again, pairs are kind of hard to make.
It's actually fifth pair.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Thank you. Good point. Yeah. Fifth pair top kicker. But I mean, I really like these small size bluffs because you mentioned this earlier in the show, Eric, how that bet size really looks like a call me bet
Hmm.
size. And
Oh,
it's,
oh,
yeah,
he
right? You
got
can, against thinking players, they see that and they're like, oh, well, he wouldn't be bluffing at such a small sizing. I'm going to let it go. I knew we were going to see some really awesome poker in this match. These guys are so good at this.
So you're recommending not to think. Is that
As little as possible. That's
okay?
my motto.
So top pair versus middle pair here. With some,
Some fun redraws
yeah.
available.
So I think we've seen Kale just range bet small
Yep.
with most. Oh, he does
Oh,
check here.
chooses.
Wow.
Interesting. Interesting. I would have thought that would have been a bet. And I think if you're watching along and you're kind of observing the action and you're paying attention to the pattern that you see, a lot of what you're seeing here is poker in flow. It's the first player to act opens, the other player calls, then they check the flop, then the other player continuation bets to a small sizing. Like there's this natural rhythm to the game where range advantage is expressed and players kind of play in flow.
They are so even in
Oh
chips.
wow.
They are just incredibly
Wow.
even in chips.
Yeah. Oh, Battle of the Titans here. Now this might be a three bet from KL. No, no, okay. So stacks are getting small enough that now three bets are not going to be as frequent.
Yeah, because you're committing yourself
Yeah.
the three bet. Like at this point, three bet is saying, "Hey, I'm willing to play for all the chips."
See, type login gets what I was saying. It was fifth pair with top kicker. That's like kind of like fourth pair. Thank you, Joseph. That's what I was thinking. That's obviously what was going through my mind as well, obviously. Now, Kale can probably get some value here from a six. I'm not sure if
I don't think so.
three
I
to the
mean,
four.
we saw
Wow, snap. Snap.
interesting,
Wasted
interesting,
no time. Wasted no time.
interesting that here,
Yeah.
wow, interesting with, I mean,
Might
it seemed at
it's like
least on
very
the river
similar to that previous
river.
spot,
I
right?
mean, I'm thinking the action might have been different, but
Yeah.
in terms of hand strength on the board, at the river, it seemed very similar. Interesting.
So Chris is ahead in this one with 10 high. Or sorry, that's not true at all. I was thinking KL had the straight draw, but they also has queen high. So there you go.
Two things can be true at the same time.
It's amazing. I'm learning so
That's
much.
yeah.
Thank you, Eric, for
You're
being
welcome.
here and
You're
expanding
welcome.
my horizons like this. This is
You're
truly
welcome.
incredible. Okay. So still anybody's game. Um,
Is 5-3
uh,
good enough? Oh, not 5-3 offsuit is not good enough to play.
well, he's gonna have a
And
problem. Is it good
well,
enough to open?
but is it good enough to raise? It's not good enough to call, or but it's good enough to raise in position.
There you go.
Yep, shows you the power of
Makes a
position.
big difference. Yep,
Yep,
exactly. And fold
yep,
equity.
yep. And look
Uh,
at this. And you flop just an
Wow.
open-ended straight draw.
Yep. So this is gonna go check bet for sure. And Chris,
And the sizing.
yeah, it's not a great board, but he does have a piece of it. And you don't think Kale's gonna have that many twos and fours.
Just
Small enough
call. Oh,
sizing does
oh,
get cut.
oh,
And that's why.
they both
That's
have,
why.
they both have the straight.
They're both open-ended. Big
So,
advantage, Chris here.
Kale just take his equity and see a river card. Yeah, he does
Mm-hmm.
choose to do that. Um,
Now, do you think Kale checks back a nine? Because if not, this
s-
is a great chance for Chris to put a bet out.
yeah, he could probe. Yeah, he does probe big. Oh,
Yep.
with the best hand.
Yep. I like the play.
But you didn't want to face a river bet. You'd rather put out the bet yourself on
Yeah.
in that situation. Do we see a three bet?
I think this one goes to 5.5 or 6. And I'll be interested to see how Chris responds. I mean, it's not a very good hand, but it is a suited hand. It is queen
Right.
high.
And the price,
It's getting,
he's
three and a
he's
half. He's pretty
making
good price.
good price. He's
I could
thinking.
understand a call or a fold. Yeah. Yeah, Jesse's got ace jack as his guess for the winner there, so he was hoping that was going to be the hand.
Oh,
I think now that we're getting to this stack size, I think Chris might actually start introducing some limps into his button play. It's very different when when the small blind is the button because it means that you get to play in position post flop. When you're three-handed
right.
and it limps to the button, or and it falls to the button, if you limp, you're going to be out of position all day. So that dynamic is a little different. And again, look at the flow. High hands. Kale's made top pair, but he's still just checking and allowing Chris to make this bet. And as the stacks get down, you can start check raising more of your top pair hands instead of just calling, but it goes for the call.
I mean, he doesn't need much protection, right? He's
It's true.
only ace is bad, and he could behind other king X with better kickers, possibly
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
This one probably goes bet call. Um,
Small bet.
yeah, small bet call, like two bigs. He can get called by a 10. Yeah,
Yep.
2.5, sure. So what are the
So
bluff? He's like, does he have an 8x hand or something? There aren't a lot. Yeah, I think that's how I would expect that to go.
okay, so yeah, now Chris is up against it.
Mm.
KL
Mm-hmm.
has significant chip lead. He could, but it's heads up. Just one big pot can just flip those stacks.
Yep. And boy, Chris really just needs a
Ooh,
7 here. He does have the gut shot, so could continue to a small bet from
yeah,
KL.
he is. Yeah.
And I expect we'll see a bet. But Kale's could no,
Oh
yeah,
no.
exactly. I was gonna say he's surprised me in the past getting some of
Okay.
those medium strength hands and
Okay.
checking back
So
with
so
them.
yeah, so he has a bucket of it's a small bucket, but he does have a bucket of check to
Hmm.
with his hands that have showdown but aren't great.
And that's actually a sneaky good card for Chris because it opens up the double gutter. So it adds to some of his
Enough to check
straight
raise?
outs. Maybe. If so, I think it's a shove, I think. Maybe not. I'm
No.
so bad. I'm so bad at this small stack check raising stuff. To me, I'm just like if I'm raising, I'm shoving here, but I think you could make
Could
it like
be. I
four
don't think
four
you have
bigs or
to.
something. Smooth call, and oh boy,
So,
what does everybody love?
chop pot. Okay.
Oh man, the drama in this match. Oh, and Chris just holding a little back. He's just holding a little back. He's just doing the all in but one play. And I mean, you're losing to ace 10, and I think that's really it. So it would be hard. I mean, KL should really, if he's calling, he should really just click it back, I think, and make Chris commit. Um, oh yeah, nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. And we got that Somsky ratio back to about 2 here. I think someone had ace 7 as a guess for the knockout hand. And now we're in, yeah, I like that shove from KL. Shoves ace 7. What do we do with king 7? 2x. And I think, Chris is getting down in chips, but still has the ability to play poker. Smooth calls in here, and it really is anybody's game. And KL can really leverage a lot of pressure off
hmm
really small bets here. So I think
Oh yeah.
because Chris's stack is shorter, we're going to see more of these sort of one big blind bets. A disciplined fold from Chris there. So Chris really is feeling like he has to conserve his chips for when it's time to put them in the middle. There's that limp we were talking about. So we're seeing Chris start to bring some limps in, the smaller stack sizes. And KL getting sneaky, checking top pair. Chris has a shotgun, or a gut shot and an
Maybe he
over.
does have a shotgun. I don't
He,
know.
he don't, we don't know. We don't know. Does he
We
have a
don't know.
shotgun or not? That's impossible to tell from here.
I've got an open
Um,
ender.
yeah, this might be the spot. Oh yeah, wow. So delicate, so fine. And KL has to call. You just got second pair, even though his kicker sucks. Wow. Now having the
So,
four straight out there does kind of slow the action, though, right?
yeah, I mean, the sizing is going to be interesting. I mean, what are you targeting?
Mm-hmm.
I like maybe two big blinds. Yeah, I think the shove. I don't think the shove is.
With the four straight out there, it's very scary. So do you think KL calls like 2.5 if he has
Yeah,
a
I think
second
he
pair
does.
here?
I think he
Yep.
calls 2.5, but the as played, KL doesn't have a jack,
Right. Yeah.
and that's what would call a shove.
Yep. And so we're getting some good comments in the YouTube chat here. As9 Bovine, for the same reason, chip conservation. Is that why they're limping? Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I think Chris would say that by having a limping range at that stack depth, that means that he can also just VPip with more hands than he would be able to if he only had an open raise or fold strategy. If he can only 2x or fold, then he has to cut off some of the worst hands. And if he has a limping range, then he can play those hands as a limp, and of course also with some better hands as well to have a balanced limping range. Okay, so KL's got bottom pair, but Chris has all the equity in the world. So I think we're going to get a bet here. And like I said, these guys are just all over the small ball for this. They're going back and forth. Battle of the Titans. Chris makes the flush, but KL has a
Has a
king
redraw.
high.
He does have a
Oh, is this
redraw.
going to be it? Is this going to be it? If Chris makes a bet here, KL could shove, and Chris would obviously have to call. Okay, Chris goes pretty small. Let's see what KL does. KL cannot fold here. 0%
Oh
folding.
no,
So
he's never folding.
they're either calling or shoving. I can't wait to see. Okay. Ooh. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought that was the last hand right there. Now it might not be. Well, now it definitely
Well,
isn't going to
this
be.
it isn't.
I don't think Chris
Yeah.
is folding, so I really thought that was going to be it. I really thought that was going to be it.
Wow, just
Wow.
wow.
And like they're right back at it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Gale still has that edge,
It does, but
but
it's closer
it's
and
close. It
closer.
was a lot closer.
Yep.
I mean, it just takes one big hand now, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yep. And that, having a small chip
paired
lead
board,
is
paired board,
very oh, good call. You
paired
called it.
board.
Yep. Yep. We can't avoid
But
them.
now we're smashing them. Now people are smashing the paired board.
That's true. That's true.
Before they were missing it, but now
Oh, um, psychologically, like again, look at how close these guys are. Like they're within a big blind of each other. Um, Psychologically, that's very different. Like having a small chip lead is a very different experience than having a large chip lead. When you have a
mm,
large chip lead, you're just like, let's go, putting it out there, applying pressure, playing a ton of hands. When you're close like this, like the opportunity,
nice.
like the downside of losing a pot is
So we
huge.
see a check raise with your two pair. I mean,
Yep. And
and
KL will be able to get
yeah,
away
yeah,
from it
yeah,
here.
because he has nothing. Yeah, I like the check raise because you're unblocking top
Yeah,
pair.
the ace X
Yeah,
hands, and if they do have an ace, you're really
yeah.
getting it in there, which is great. So now
Okay.
Chris has the chip lead, about a
Mm-hmm.
1.5 Somsky ratio. You get a
Okay.
three bet from
Oh,
KL and a
yeah,
fold from Chris, I
yeah.
expect. As nine bovine in the chat. Yes, we see more flops, thus better odds to hit one. Yeah, and like we say, but you're also going to be in position here. So it's not only seeing more flops, but you're seeing more flops in position. Um, and like we're talking about, as our chip stacks get kind of closer together, your opponent's less incentivized to just like fire, fire, fire when you limp. Um, so there are some good reasons
Paired,
to
paired
it.
board,
Oh boy, paired board,
and again,
and it's a hit.
somebody smashes
Yep.
it. So
Yep. And Chris has an ace here, so this is
either
gonna get they're gonna get some chips in here. I think high hands probably just calls.
I think check
Um
raise.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, super
yeah,
tiny little check
but
raise. Yep.
small. And I
Yep.
think Ace High has to call
Right.
defend against his flush draws.
Yeah, it's got
Against
mm,
oh
mm.
mm, oh it's a tricky
This
check.
is
A
gross.
check.
Yeah.
I think Chris checks. I mean, he has showdown value in case KL had a piece of it that truly,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't bluffing. So I think he does bet.
And
I'm
this could even be a value bet
right.
against a lot of Kale's range because two pair to the ace is going to be ahead here a lot. Um, no, very, very dirty. And
I
KL's
mean,
just building a stack to pot ratio that makes it easier to get it in on the river. So
right. There's no
I think Chris probably checks back here and get
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if KL well, what is he calling my check raise with? A lot of times it's a king.
Yeah.
So, now he loses to King X.
Mm-hmm.
King X now has a full house, so maybe that's why he slowed it down
Yep.
there.
And you can see as the chip stacks get smaller, um, any pot is crucial now. Any pot that has more than a few big blinds in it is going to end up really swinging the advantage one way or the other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because every chip you lose goes to your opponent and builds his
Exactly.
stack. It comes off
Exactly.
my stack, goes in his stack,
It's
and
a
vice
double
versa.
door.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But still, these guys know how to play these short stacks too. So, um, no one's going to just start getting it in bad just because they're getting short. These players aren't going to get desperate just because they're getting short here.
Right.
Now, if this goes check from KL, I think we'll get a bet from Chris. I do think a small bet here is in order. Okay, no,
Oh,
just gonna get to showdown, he says. Now you are kind of opening it up for KL to now make a small bet and try and take it away. And with the chip lead, there's a good argument for doing that. Yeah,
so is Chris hero call here?
so
As played,
gross.
yeah. As
Wow,
played,
what a
right, right.
boss. What a boss.
So
And that's,
the
yeah,
way to
please.
bluff catch, the best way to bluff catch is to allow your opponent to
It's
bluff.
true.
Give him the
Open the
option.
door.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Nicely, nicely said.
Let's Chris turn this into a three bet. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
maybe this,
Ooh, good
there you
board.
go.
So this
Yes.
again, this will go check from Chris. We'll get a small bet. Well, actually, I don't know if in this
So
exact KL could
Cahill
check back
has been
here.
checking back some,
Yeah,
but he does go with the range bet.
I like it. I think it's just so
Yeah.
so profitable. You'd be crazy not to.
Hmm.
And then Chris picks up an diamonds or a straight. He's got a lot of draws coming in,
He's
and
already
he
got the
has
top pair.
top pair. Yeah. Um, when Chris calls that small bet, he really strengthens his range. And so I like the lead here because you're not kind of fooling anyone
Right.
into thinking that
Right.
you have
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Calling is almost as strong as raising there. So I like that he recognizes that it's time to put some chips in here. And I think KL can actually call here with jacks. He'd love to have the jack of diamonds, but um, Chris could
Right.
be doing this with some one pair hands and a diamond.
Right. If he had just 5x, right? 5x hands.
Yeah,
He might have done this.
yeah. I like it. That was a very, very disciplined fold by KL. I like the bet from Chris, though. I don't think KL was putting a lot more chips in
Right.
if he wasn't going to do it by calling there. And look at these chip stacks again. Good Lord. They're within point oh one of a big blind. They're within point oh two of a big blind. This is crazy. Crazy. I think if I was playing against either one of these guys and got the same cards, I would have busted twice by now. So Chris goes for the 2x, and now we are seeing that jam. Both players are just a little over 20 big blinds, and the three bet jam from KL here. And so KL takes a slight chip lead, but still very much anybody's game. I see our intrepid producer is responding to some questions or comments from our players there in real time. Okay, pretty good board for Chris
Wow.
here, and his leads out with having range advantage, I think, on the 3-4-6 offsuit. Didn't know it, but was bluffing with the best hand. We got
How
some.
even can we be with chips?
I know it's
How even?
insane. It's
I mean,
remarkable.
just
Remarkable. I've
it's
got
just
some comment from Type Login in the YouTube chat. Yeah, 32 player bracket next year. I mean, it's not impossible. I think we could do a bigger bracket. We would just probably not be able to televise the whole first round. I think if we did a 32 player
or
bracket, we would
I don't think a
probably
32 maybe have like a play-in.
mm.
Know how the NBA does a play-in, and actually the NCAA does a play-in now, right? They expanded, so they didn't double the amount of players. They have like the last two slots is like a four,
Oh, I see.
14 playoffs into the
Okay.
last two slots. So yeah,
That's cool. That's a cool idea. Well, we'll note that and
yeah. So I mean, actually, it kind of how like some of our players got into
yeah, through
MaREC
the qualifying.
quite, so it's kind of similar to that, right?
Yep. That's a cool idea.
But I guess maybe we can, we do something like that.
Hmm. Okay, pretty mandatory three bet here from
I think he
Chris.
defends. I think KL
I
defends
think
here.
KL defends.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
wow, all
We
right.
we we did not see that.
They're definitely, feeling those stacks coming into play. They're starting to get into the end game of this match and they don't want to give it away. Good board for another small bet from Chris, I think.
Yep.
And just like that, Chris is back on top.
Yeah, I think we'll see a three bet, and I don't think. Oh, okay. A limp.
Yep.
I saw it.
Let's maybe
Now
go to like
KL
three
might
and a half or
he
something.
might
Yeah,
call.
three
He
and a
might
half.
fold.
Yeah,
And this is really, yeah. That was definitely marginal to be calling there. I think we'll see a flop on this one.
me too. Hmm.
And yep, top pair, KL's ahead.
Not sure if Chris is going to bet this one or not. Yeah, I think again,
Just
it's just so profitable to make these small bets in position here. You should really be doing it, and then you can slow down on turns and rivers. But I do think you get a lot of. It's a very profitable play.
right. That's the thing is the pot odds, right? It's profitable because it doesn't have to work every time. It doesn't even have
Right,
to work a majority of the time
right.
and still be profitable.
Yep. So I'm guessing we get a bet from KL. Yep, there it is, and then Chris can let it go. Again, super close. Chris has a few more chips, but it's really, really anybody's game. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's gonna be come down to like somebody they both hit top pair in the kicker plays, or just a cooler where it's kings against queens or something.
Yep. And again,
These
if you're
guys have
watching,
been battling.
Yeah.
This has been a battle.
And again, you just see this kind of natural flow of the game.
Hmm.
And this is why, like, we haven't seen a lot of donk. We haven't seen a lot of leads into aggression on the flop. The more poker you play, the more you kind of come to understand this like natural rhythm of the game, this natural flow of the game. And then when players act out of flow, that's something to really pay attention to because players tend not to do that in a very balanced fashion. Well, King 10 offsuit does occasionally turn a draw, still ahead with King High, but I think we might see a bet from KL here when Chris checks two streets. Nope. Now, I don't think KL can ever think he's good, but with 14 big blinds and four in the middle, he might just be giving up on this one. Yeah, and Chris goes for again on what was that? 7-7 ace jack 5. He's got king 10. Like both cards play. It's a pretty good hand. He's beating all the air that KL has. So it's an interesting choice for that small bet because
Did
it's
we
hard
see
to
it
get
here?
called by worse and it's hard to
King nine.
fold out
Oh
better.
man,
Yeah, it's
he's.
gross.
Uh,
It's only 12 more, but it's
I think
hard.
he gives
Yeah.
it up. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's the right. I think
yeah,
it's the right
yeah,
play.
yeah.
It's like
Now,
King 10,
now,
but even one
yeah. I
worse.
was like saying, what do you do with King ten off? What do you do?
I know what I do. I find a better spot. King Jack, I'm coming along.
Yeah, top pair, bad pick kicker,
Yeah, bad
but
kicker, but a
it's
very dynamic
draw
board.
for yeah. I think
I think we'll
that's
get a small
small,
bet. Yeah,
and Chris can't continue with nine high.
yeah. And I do think like we've kind of been talking about, when you get in heads up scenarios like this, kickers just don't matter nearly as much because the players are being a lot less selective about the hands that they bring to the flop. So um kickers aren't as relevant, not nearly as relevant.
KL spikes the queen, although he was ahead
Hmm.
before, but now he can comfortably
I
call.
think
But
so.
or does he ever raise? No.
No, I like it as a call. And by
And
checking there, he
yeah,
does open it up for Chris to go with that
yeah.
delayed C bet.
Unfortunately for him, actually, fortunately, for him, Chris actually got showdown value.
Right.
If Chris had missed, maybe he's more tempted to bluff at it.
Yeah. Now this might be a sneaky limp from K. Oh yeah. Do I know this guy or what?
Hmm.
Um, this is the kind of spot where, it's nice to see flops. You're kind of protecting your limping range with a relatively strong hand, and you can induce some trickeration from your
Right.
opponent here.
Eh, But with Chris's exact hand,
Yeah. Now he might just decide, listen, I'm going to rep an ace here because you limped. All right, I think that's the right decision though, just to let it go. Hmm.
yeah, I think as the stacks go down, now we're seeing a more of a limping range from both.
Yep. I like how Cahill's using the exact all-in size for Chris for his shove. He's not shoving
No,
himself.
no,
He's
no. The this is the program. It's Poker Now.
Oh, I
Poker
see.
Now
I
does that.
see.
No,
Well, you would be the guy to know.
yes, yes.
You're
Poker
in
Now
here.
does that automatically.
Okay, okay.
It says, well, effective stack is this. This is what you shoved. So
I see.
it's a Poker Now thing.
I see.
No. As good as these guys are,
I
yeah,
was gonna say, he
they're
got there
not
very
taking the
quickly
time.
too.
They're
Yeah.
not taking the time to like, okay, he has exactly
Yeah,
16.37. This is
right.
no,
Oh,
it's
that's so
Poker Now.
funny. Now I really would love to see a bet from Chris. Yep, exactly. And just try and capture some value and
Hmm.
um he should be bluffing there, when KL checks back on the flop, he should be bluffing there.
Now, is this a limp? Is this a
Yeah.
raise?
I could see this being any of the three options. It could be a limp, a raise, or even a shove.
Wow.
Wow. Talk about smashing a flop.
Small bet?
Small bet, I think. Yep. And KL
Oh
could
man.
come along here. No, no,
No.
stacks are too short. Not get, I mean, you can't play that speculative a hand, I guess, when you don't have enough back to make it worth it.
Does he open pull? Oh no, he's like I'm in
Mm.
position.
Let's see a three
Yep,
bet from
yep.
Chris here.
And he's not gonna
Oh
do
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. Did he show? I think he showed that time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Now I think I recognize the graphics of them showing. Okay.
Mm.
I noticed the difference that time.
We've got the Westerveld,
Yep,
and
uh-huh. Like I
goes
said, it
for
comes
it.
up now that it has a name. You
You
see
see
it
it
all
all
the
the time.
time. I swear to God.
That's so funny. All right, well, KL's still in front with Jack high, but we've got a gut shot for Chris. And like we were just saying, when stacks get short, it's less profitable to chase your draws because you can't get as much in after you make it with less
So
behind.
yeah, so Chris floated on the turn with just what gut shot.
Hmm.
We saw before he just said, "Okay, well, I have a plan. Like when you check
Yep.
to me on the river, I know I can't win with this. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go for it." So I'm curious to
And he
see him
definitely
go for it.
definitely has some sixes here. He would have played some sixes in a similar way, but
Oh no, he
no,
does
just
not. He does
giving up.
not. He
Just
gave
giving up.
up. He gave up. I mean, with Jack high, I couldn't see Kale calling there, so
Mm.
maybe a missed opportunity there.
Hmm. Hmm. So hard to know though. I mean, we're so
Oh yeah.
spoiled being able to see both hands. It's like, but it does kind of show you just how infrequently opponents make hands. Like it's just most of the time they're just not making a hand. And so getting players to fold is really what the art of poker is all about. Getting paid with your value hands, super important, and it's the easiest skill to learn. But getting players to fold hands that are better than yours is the next step in that journey. Crucial.
You're just staying so even, and as the blinds go up, the stack
Hmm.
sizes are getting shorter, and it's has been quite the battle.
I love to see it.
Okay, this might we might see some action here.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So Chris really should be continuing here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
Yep.
size up. Okay,
And
that's a bit of a
the stacks are.
more back and forth. It's
Yep.
crazy. We'll see an open from Chris here and maybe a fold from KL. This might be right at the cusp
Yeah.
of those hands that, yeah.
So yeah, so we're at a point where it's just gonna be one big hand, one cooler type, and it's unfortunately like one we have to declare a winner and we have to declare a loser. But I think they both have been right playing great, so that's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
And it's the tough thing about playing in this bracket.
Hmm.
There's only 16 slots. You're gonna find some very strong players before you even get into the Elite Eight or the Final Four. And you're really seeing it play out in this first round. Some very high level poker being played.
Okay, wow. I think I think
It's gonna
KL's
go.
shoving.
I think you're right. This should be a
He's
shove from
shoving.
KL.
Just she needs to shove. He can't play any hands.
I think Chris can get away from it just because the kicker is so bad and like it is 10, it's half his stack
Right,
to
right, right.
continue.
Yeah.
Uh, hmm. And here we're gonna see more of these folds pre-flop with some of these bad
Right.
hands when
Now
there's
we're
not
going.
enough
Oh,
chips.
okay. I
Oh,
think
this has got to be it. This
all the
has to
chips
be
go
it.
in.
We got a limp
All the
from
chips going in.
KL.
Oh, interesting. He goes with the limp.
I,
Is
I think it's a
limp
trap.
calling? Oh,
think
okay.
it's a trap. I do.
I think he has to call it, right?
He
I
he
mean,
brought he asked for this raise by limping. If he wasn't going to call, this would be better as a 2x. Um,
wow.
he's really thinking about it.
No, no,
Yeah, I think
there we
that's
go.
right. I think you just have to. I think that's the way it has to
I
be.
think they were maybe just like saying good luck
Yeah,
to each other before the call or something like
yeah.
that.
All right. There's only so many kings in the. Oh, wow.
Oh, what? Oh, wow.
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 Wow. All right.
Like I
Well,
said, I
Chris,
told you it would be like a cooler, just
it's
like,
true. It's true.
okay, now Chris really has the battle.
Yeah,
Again, I think at this stack size, he's just, it's an all in
I
if
think
he
so.
enters a pot.
I think so. And you can only afford to wait so long because you're losing,
Despite an ace
a
high
big blind.
against Queen 10 suited,
I think we'll
this
get the shove and the
it's
call. I think
yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
And we need some help for Chris Jones. But as you can see,
Oh,
he's actually
whoa,
boards like this.
whoa.
He's ahead. Look at
I
the
mean,
equity. He's got 50.
that's
Oh, that didn't
that's
help.
quite
But so many outs. Give the
oh
man his
quick
queen.
eight.
Wow.
And we
What?
continue and we
What?
continue.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
and we continue. The poker's gods agreed when they said it'd be a shame
What a
for
match.
to have to declare a winner. Let's keep it
That's
going.
right.
Let's keep it going.
Oh, wow. God, I love this game.
Oh, we both have a five. Wow.
Yep, small,
Yeah,
small,
yeah, it's
small.
small. Okay. And nobody's going
Yeah,
anywhere. And the
yeah,
eight
probably get
does
one
pay.
big blind. I think probably calls here. If he was good on the turn, he's good on the river. Yep.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Wow.
And oh, we aren't
Just
quite
like
even,
that.
but we're close. We're close.
Two big blinds away. Boy, I love watching these guys play. Yep, I like it. Now this could be interesting.
I think we go to a flop. I think we see a flop.
Yeah,
Small
a
bet.
small bet like 1.5, one. Yeah,
It's Kale, he
no,
didn't think
interesting.
his backdoors were good enough.
So I noticed for the most part, these players are really only putting chips in with made hands. I don't seem like since the stacks have gotten smaller,
Hmm.
they're really playing strength for the most part. Let's see. Okay, no, just insta
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
check.
King high,
Get that king
king
high.
high.
Yeah.
Like you said, heads up. King high is actually pretty strong and can be
Mm-hmm.
the best hand often enough.
All right, now Chris has the 2-to-1 chip lead, the Somsky ratio at a little over two now.
Wow,
And I thought that could have gotten into a
wow.
spicy spot there. They had each other's outs covered. This should be an open from Chris. Oh, of course. Yeah, Chris is playing the limping level now. And Kale does not want to hit his 10. He doesn't know that yet, but he does not want to hit his 10. I'm kind of surprised Chris didn't just put a small bet out there, but I think it's
Yeah,
because he expects to get check raised here when
right,
when KL checks on such a small stack. And boy, Kale's really getting in trouble now. Every pot you lose, it's another big blind. You only have seven to
right.
start with, so
Ooh,
ooh, this is probably the
right.
spot
Well,
where we get a double up. It's gonna be hard for Chris not to get some chips in here, and the stacked pot ratio is approaching one.
that's true. I mean, okay, I'll just put it in. No,
He's
no,
just bleeding them,
they're just
bleeding them dry.
it's just like his value target is deuce
Yeah,
X and
two
three
X and
X
three
and
X is
that's
true,
there.
and like that's what he's got.
So
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna bet and that's what can call me.
yep. And now, now you get to the river where you actually have like a 60% pot bet left. Oh, oh, yeah.
no, I think it'd be way too thin to try to bet there. I think it's way too thin.
That
Kale.
makes a big difference though, picking up
No,
those
yeah,
chips,
yeah,
because now
yeah.
he's got 10 instead of six,
Yeah,
and like that does make a big
you
difference.
can, afford to fold a couple hands that are just, not good hands.
And it also puts Chris off just like open
Yeah,
shoving and stealing all the equity.
right.
Yeah, see, these guys are not afraid to play small stacks. It's awesome.
Chris has a bottom pair. Yeah,
KL's got
yeah,
the gut
yeah.
shot.
Now with these short stacks, the C bet small is not as prevalent.
Yeah, more checking back,
Yeah.
turn it into a two street game. Wow.
Wow. Kale's yeah.
This is danger zone. Oh
Oh, oh,
no.
oh, oh. I
Oh,
think
okay.
this
This one
possibly
smells
will,
like a
yeah,
double up.
yeah, this is what it possibly do. He has diamond covered.
He's got him
He's
just
he's got the
dominated in
two.
every way here. Overs.
Oh, oh,
Oh. Oh wow.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just has to dodge eight or seven. Okay, nine just didn't
Yep.
need unnecessary, but we'll take it.
Yeah, rude almost, you might say.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
crucial double up for KL there.
Yeah,
Still
but
has fewer chips, but
now,
it's
right
it's
now, I mean,
anybody's
look,
game.
Chris doesn't have that many chips. It's
Yeah,
just you win a medium pot now. The
right.
chip stacks flip.
Hmm. Oh
Wow.
boy. I would gotta see a
Oh,
bet from Chris here. Yep.
yeah.
And KL can come along here, I think, for one big blind. He's got a backdoor flush. He's got the gut shot. He's got an over.
Oh, he just.
Oh!
Oh.
Okay,
I
we're
think.
getting it in, I think, here. Um,
Well,
yeah.
Does Kale fold?
Uh,
Oh
no,
no,
goes for it.
he
All right,
goes
he
for
just
it. He
needs a
needs a nine
nine.
or running
Um,
diamond.
oh boy.
Oh,
What?
runner,
Wow. Runner,
runner.
runner.
That's
I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that.
wow.
Chris has been getting it in good here for a couple of these
Yes,
spots.
yes.
And
That's gotta be
that starts
that's
to
gotta be
hurt.
fresh. That's gotta be
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, that starts to actually really affect you. So here we got the open-ended and the backdoor flush for Chris.
This
High
might be it
hands.
as well. I mean,
KL has top pair.
he might
Wouldn't
decide
surprise
just
me.
stick it in.
Bet this looks like a good check raise spot
I mean,
for
yep,
Chris, and he
yeah,
takes
and
it. I like to
not
see it,
going anywhere.
and got a call with top pair. All right, Chris, you got all the outs in the world. What's it going to be? One more card to come.
Oh,
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 wow,
brutal.
wow!
Oh,
What a
that was
battle!
well, that's a battle.
What a battle! Congratulations, KL Cleaton, and well played, Chris Jones. Holy, um, boy, that's hard to really. I didn't see a lot of spots where anybody misplayed anything. I mean, I'm no savant, but I thought those were just two players
No, yeah,
making great poker
it
decisions, and
was in it. It was gonna come down some cooler or of some sort,
yeah,
and yeah, so I mean, runner
wow.
there.
Well,
Well
we got
played by both.
our last match of the night
Mm-hmm.
here. This is Ben Enslow versus Roger Schutte. So these are two just fantastic guys. Ben Enslow is often sharing his play on stream, and in
Mm-hmm.
fact, he's starting on Sunday, March 23rd. Ben is going to be streaming his play every Sunday on the Rec Poker YouTube channel.
All right.
Taylor Moss streams every Wednesday night, and Ben's going to be joining the fun on Sundays. So check it out. Um, Roger Schutte is actually honestly one of my favorite people in the rec poker community. Roger, we talk on the show about how we're kind of a volunteer-based organization. Roger's one of those volunteers who really, I mean, we couldn't do what we do here without folks like him and Michael Babker, who was able to ride on to victory last week. So I'm rooting for Roger for this one. I love Ben to death, but I'm rooting for Roger because Roger, is involved with our podcast. Every single podcast that you've listened to, folks, over the last 3 or 4 years, Roger has had a hand in optimizing it in post production and sorting out the audio levels and adding some graphics and that kind of stuff. And he doesn't ask for anything in return. And he's just been such a great contributor to everything that we do here at Rec Poker. Roger, I'm so glad you're involved in this, and I'm rooting for you. Ben, I think you're the bee's knees as well. So but I gotta root for my guy Roger here. A little type login, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Appreciate your donation, and we'll be sharing a portion of that with a local food bank. Keep it up, buddy. I love your support. Thank you. All right, here we go. So we got Roger and Ben going at it. They've got their cameras on, so we're going to be able to see all the action. Um, there's, there's, yeah, it's true. So some folks are mentioning that the brackets appear to be kind of one-sided in our wins so far. The last week, everyone on the left side of the bracket won, and so far this week, everyone on the left side of the bracket has lost. So it's up to Ben Enslow to save the left side of the
Oh, wow.
bracket. That's how close these things have come. That's how tense the action is here as we head into the final round of MaREC Madness, the final match, I should say, of round number one. Now, so between these two, Ben is a younger player, but has been studying a lot over the years. Used to play more frequently. He actually became a dad last summer, so he's had a little less time on the felt. But he's coming back into it, studying more, getting back into his stream schedule, and I know he's really been enjoying the process of studying. And we've been doing some forums podcasts based around some of the stuff that he's been working on that folks should be able to hear in the next few weeks. And I think that should be a lot of fun. Um, I know Roger plays live when he can. He's a regular in our home game club.
Yep.
Um, and I'm not sure who actually I mean, he's probably been playing poker for longer than Ben. I might have an experience edge there. I'll be curious to see how
True.
these guys approach
Right.
open sizing and that kind of stuff.
Right. So after seeing that last long battle where you're battling short stacks, it's
Yeah,
now we see these huge 70 big blind
that's right.
stacks. Uh
And
so
folks, yeah, get your
flopping
guesses
full
in.
house is
That
not
helps.
bad. Yeah, that helps.
That helps. Not going to get much in Roger's hand to get Ben paid, unfortunately, but you never know.
I think I have
Set,
like a small bet. Oh, I think I have a small
yep,
bet,
yeah,
but I
try and get some value here. Oh, look at this. This is beautiful. Here, a nice pickup by Ben there. Our own 555, Chris Jones, pledging $5.55 as a super chat. Thank you, Chris. He says, as much as he's a punk like KL2, Taylor sure runs a mean MaREC. Thanks for all you do, Taylor. Great commentary,
oh,
Binkley and Jim
appreciate.
too. Thank you, Chris. That's so kind of you, man. And you know we'll be sharing a portion of that donation with a local food bank as well. So thanks for your support for all we do here. And in so many ways, Chris, you're such a crucial element of the team here. Speaking of OGs of Rec Poker, some of my favorite people, I'll tell you.
So our first three of a kind board.
Yes. Yep, that's right. And both players have a seven.
Yep.
Um, but
One of
kickers
the
won't count if sevens come into play at this point. So,
one of the most static boards there is.
oh wow, here we go. So, can one player can one player rep a two? That's really the only question. Or I guess
Well,
an ace could come on the river, and that would probably end this match right here, to be
that is
honest with
true.
you.
So yeah, so Ben is free rolling there.
Ben's free rolling this time, yeah.
But everybody loves a chop pot.
You're
Interesting
getting
that
better and better at those.
interesting Roger doesn't bet. I mean, Ben has to bet, and you would think Roger
Ben has to
would
bet. I think
raise
Roger
or
Roger might
raise.
Roger might just be thinking.
Ben could
It's
have
hard. It's hard to.
overpairs.
No,
You
not
get
even that. I think it's just hard to get called.
called
You're
by
you're
worse.
better to check raise or check call here. Yeah, at
Can't
least
get
then you
called
keep their
by
bluffs in.
worse. Okay.
Yeah. Which is that kind of, especially when you're out of position, right? That dynamic is really tricky where
Right.
you've got it so locked up, it's almost hard for your opponent to have a piece of it. Let's see if we get a three bet from Ben here. Now I know the Poker Now
Oh, he
interface
does.
is such that calling can happen very quickly, but if you want to raise or bet, you have to sort of click something and then type and click something
It
else. So
is.
those
Yeah.
if you see a little delay, it's usually indicative of someone making an aggressive action. So I'm sure we'll see an open from Ben here, and this could either be a call or a three bet from Roger.
I mean,
Yes,
what a
I love
hand
to
to
see
three
it.
bet with.
I
Oh,
love to
really?
see
King
it.
10
Well,
offsuit? Is that?
it's your only way to win. Your only way to win is by getting them to fold. Oh, look at this board.
Yeah.
So second pair for Roger, the flush draw for Ben could get spicy. This one could get spicy.
Okay. So I think Ben call in position. I mean, he's getting
Yep.
decent price in position with a
Mm-hmm.
nut flush draw.
Yep, that's right.
And when you bink it, it's even
Ooh, yeah, that
better.
helps. That helps. Will that slow Roger down?
I
Still
think it
has,
does. I think
still
it.
have tons of
Oh, it
chips.
doesn't.
No.
It does not. Okay.
No, I like a call from Ben here. There's
Yeah.
no, other than the board pairing, you're really not worried
Yeah.
about anything at
I mean,
all.
yep.
And yeah, and I think you get more chips this way. Now,
Better
I mean,
slow
Ben,
down.
yeah, Ben, I guess Ben opened and Roger
Oh,
three bet.
wow. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Well, with the nuts, you have to raise it, or else I think it's a penalty.
I think that's right. That's
All right,
right.
it would be a penalty if he didn't raise here.
That's a good point.
And Roger can't call.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Ben's an aggressive player. Um, I think because Roger three
Oh,
bet.
wow.
Oh yeah, there you go. No, because like I say, he's
I
putting him like Ben knows how to get
wow.
frisky. So there, well, we had a marathon match and a quick match.
Okay, wow. I did
Um,
not expect that. I was ready for a longer battle, but
yeah, but
good
no,
game for both. Good
congratulations,
game. Yeah.
congratulations, Ben, and
And he
um,
defended the left side of the
oh, the bracket. That's right. Yes.
of the marquee. So
That's fantastic. Oh, hey, Benny the Jet. Awesome. Thank you so much, Benny. $6.99. That's amazing. As you know, we're so appreciative of those donations, and we're definitely going to share a portion of that with a local food bank. So thank you so much. I know Benny, he's a big Ben fan. You can't argue. I mean, Ben's got to stick together. They're birds of a feather. What are you going to do? Awesome, awesome. What a fun night. Some
yeah, it was
amazing
great.
poker. Some really, really impressive play tonight. And I know Roger would have liked to have battled that out with Ben for a little longer, but it's really a compliment to Ben for Roger to sort of think that he's got these one club hands, these other bluffy spots out there that he can get shovey with, and being prepared to hold his ground and stack them off. I love it. All
It
heart
it
with these
it
guys.
and but it does confirm your theory about King 10 offsuit though.
Don't
It
play that crap. Don't
did.
muck it. I want to muck King 10 faster than Taylor
When he
Moss
three bet you,
mucks pocket
let's go
fives.
back to the tape. You said, "Oh, I love it with the three bet." So I don't know. Pick a side, Jim. You seem to be
That's usually
waffling
how
here.
you lose the least with it. But
Okay,
yeah, no,
well,
it's just Roger. Now you know, man. It's a terrible hand. Don't play that garbage, folks. You learned it here first. Um, some great, awesome contributions from our YouTube chat. I'm always so pleased when we get some lively characters out in there. Thanks for coming along. Eric, Jin, I love hanging out with you and talking
it
poker,
was
man.
so
This
fun.
was
It was so
so much
fun to
fun. We're
see.
just the luckiest freaking guys in the world. There's no doubt about it. To our invisible producer, Taylor Moss, who was victorious tonight. doing a great job behind the scenes, putting this whole thing together. Of course, doing a great job on the felt like he always does. That's why we call him Tay Tay. He's just, it's just he loves that name. He loves it when other people call him Tay Tay. I hope everyone does from now on. I'll buy you a beer if you do. Uh, I well, join us next week, folks. We're going to be into round two of MaREC Madness. I'm going to be joined by Lorianne Persinger in the booth. We're going to be going through some of these heads up brackets into round two. Winner versus winner is going to be some great poker. We're going to give away some great prizes, and we're going to be doing this every Tuesday night, all MaREC long. Unless there's anything else to get into, I think we're going to roll on out of here. Last question from the YouTube chat. Yes, Tay Tay does play next week. I think all our winners are going to play next week in our round two bracket. And then we get into the semifinals the week after that. And then the finals on the 25th is a best two out of three. So we'll get a chance to absorb some bad beats and see who the real cream of the crop is. All right, well, before Taylor mutes me, I better get us on out of here. Thanks everyone so much. I'm so pleased and grateful for to be in this spot and to be able to have so much fun with all of you. Have a great week. Catch up on the Rec Poker podcast on Monday night. We're going to be talking to Daniel Negreanu. Don't miss that. And we'll see you back here on next Tuesday night for round two of MaREC Madness. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
It was super fun.